But we're back. After hours here on 96.5 The Fan. Logan Weber joined tonight by Nathan Williams producing the show this evening. Full show, so we're hanging out till 9 p.m. And a lot to get to. We've got Royals baseball, we've got World Cup, a little bit of Chiefs news along the way. Jordan Foote will join us at 6:30 to talk Chiefs throughout the program as well. And how about a Kansas City Metro project who is quietly, maybe not quietly, that's probably the wrong way to phrase it, that may just be the best baseball player on planet Earth right now. And I don't know how many people are unaware of the fact that arguably the best player in Major League Baseball today is from the Kansas City metro area. 913-586-7965 is our number. So make sure you stay with us. A lot to get to, but let's get things started with a little bit of good news regarding the Kansas City Royals. It has been few and far between this season. Nathan, the first thing you said to me when you came into the bullpen this afternoon was, I'm so tired of talking about the Royals. And that's 100% fair. You know, even with today's result, there's still 15 games below 500. I believe, and most people believe, the season is a wrap at this point, barring the most miraculous second half turnaround in Royals history. When you're sitting at 30-45, even after a win this afternoon, it's hard to see any sort of positive signs, anything to sort of hang your hat on. But there were a couple of things that were interesting to see from today's game. First and foremost, a 4-hit day from Carter Jensen. That has been something I feel like Royals fans have been waiting on, for him to kind of begin to turn the tide after a, let's face it, awful month of May. And the first week and a half, 2 weeks of the month of June, he was terrible as well. But looking at his most recent games, his game log as of right now, I think he's in the midst of an 8-game hitting streak, 9-game hitting streak at this point after today's game, including 4 hits on 4 ABs this afternoon. So you're looking at his last 7 games, he's hitting 286. When you look at his last 30 days, he's hitting 195. So that tells you that, I mean, prior to the last 7 days, he was hitting much lower than that 195 pace suggests. And I'm not even sure that takes into account his 4-hit day today. So a big 4-hit day from Carter Jensen. We got to see more of John Rave than we have at any point this season. You know, he played in 72 games last year. He had like 150 ABs. It was a very limited, very small sample size. We got to see him walk yesterday, but today we actually saw him take a few swings. And what does he do? He goes 2 for 4 at the dish. So a 2-hit day for John Rave, 28 years old, trying to make his way back. He, of course, got called up with the Kyle Isbell injury. And then outside of that, the rest of the lineup did its job today, right? 12 hits as a team. The only guy in the lineup that didn't register a hit was Nick Lofton. And I guess Cam Meisner, if you want to count him, but he came in as a pinch runner, so he didn't even get an AB in this game. And then Luinder Avila, who has been sporadic, is maybe the kindest way that I can phrase it. He's either been really good or really bad. He throws 5 2/3 of one-run baseball today. I feel like we're at a point in the year now where we have to kind of change our mindset a little bit when it comes to the Kansas City Royals. And that's kind of hard to wrap your head around when the expectations were as high as they were. You know, nobody was expecting this team to go out and actually contend for the American League crown. I feel like if you were there, you might have been a little bit delusional about what this baseball team could be. But I said somewhere between 84 and 88 wins. I felt pretty good in thinking that that's where this team could be. I never anticipated Vinny Pasquantino struggling the way that he has struggled through the first couple months of the year, and then, lo and behold, getting himself put on the injured list again. I never expected Salvador Perez to be hovering around the Mendoza line in mid-June right now, and I certainly didn't expect the pitching rotation to deal with the level of injuries that it has. You know, Lugo taking that comebacker right off the head this week. We've seen Cole Reagans be out of the rotation for over a month at this point. We haven't seen much of Chris Bubich in the last couple of weeks. And then you had the bullpen situation. And I feel like I'm making excuses, but that's not where I'm at. I just think that there were a lot more. I'm trying to find the right way to phrase. There were a lot more things to overcome, right? There was a lot more adversity surrounding this Royals baseball team than we saw the last 2 years. And that's not an excuse because this team has still underperformed. Despite all those injuries, you still have arguably the third best player in baseball on your roster in Bobby Witt Jr. Jack Caglione, I think it's fair to say he's figured it out. I feel very confident in saying Jack Caglione is now an everyday player for the Kansas City Royals. Carter Jensen is going through the ebbs and flows of what it means to be a rookie, but I have a ton of confidence that he can be an everyday guy. And even with the injuries, Maikel Garcia is still hitting 260, 270. There's still more than enough here. This team has fallen short of its expectation, no question about it, but that doesn't mean that you can't still take positives out of certain performances as the season goes along. Continue to be disappointed in a team that had playoff expectations not making the playoffs. That's absolutely well within your right as a fan. But I also feel like we need to kind of take the wins as we get them and find those little silver linings. Otherwise, we'll all go crazy. That's just where I'm at right now. Disappointed in the way that the season is gone, and it sucks, but I just sort of have to take those small victories as they come along to try to find some level of meaning in what is an otherwise despicable baseball season for the Royals.
Well, it is, and it has already driven me crazy, but you're right about looking for the small nuggets along the way. So look, this Nationals team is frisky, all right? They're tied for the third wild card spot. They lead the major leagues in runs scored. The Washington Nationals are more than 10 runs clear of the Dodgers in second place and about 40 runs clear of the Yankees and Pirates, who are in about third and fourth place respectively. It's close between them. No, they've got some very quiet superstars in James Wood, C.J. Abrams. They've got a lineup that's deep with average to above average league hitters. It's a good offense. So the nugget I can take away from this series pretty easily is the start of Lowinder Avila. His fourth start of, I think he opened a few games in the month of May, but since he's really been added to this rotation in the month of June, he's made 4 starts. His first 2 were great. He went 5 innings both times, gave up 1 earned run both times on that road trip in Cincinnati and Minnesota. And then last week, he ran into Yordan Alvarez, and he couldn't get out of the first inning. So I was watching him today and saying, he's facing the best offense in baseball on the road. What can he do? And he was really good. And the reason that nugget is important for me is obviously Bubich is departing after this season, whether it's in a trade or free agency. I am not moving forward as if Cole Reagans is a part of this rotation. You can if you want to. The text line can if they want to. I know J.J. Piccolo will continue to do so. I'm not moving forward as if Cole Reagans is a contributor in this rotation. And so the back half of this rotation next year, in a year that we expect the team to compete, is going to be made up of Noah Cameron, Stephen Kolek, and Lowinder Avila. So, Lowinder Avila and Stephen Kolek are probably the 2 biggest pieces that I'm looking at, because we expect this team to bring in reinforcements in the bullpen and in the offense, right? They're going to have to do that in order to take a step forward. This rotation, if they can continue to develop, win trades, they could possibly get by next year without making a large addition. So that's why I'm really encouraged today by the performance of Lowinder Avila. Now, what did they move to? 30-45 with a win today? Yeah,
correct.
Big deal. Big deal. They salvaged a sweep against the Nationals. And even though they're good, they're a middle of the rotation team overall. I'm really impressed and can take away the positives in Lowinder Avila's performance today, though.
No question about it. And that's something that he's going to have to, I think, battle all year is inconsistency. I think it's fair to point out that the way that the organization has at times handled him has not been to his benefit, I don't believe. Taking him as a starting pitching prospect and then, but we may actually need you more in the bullpen, so we're going to throw you in the bullpen for a little while. Oh, but then somebody goes down, so now we have to use you as a starter. And I understand the thought, right? I think that the Royals were, if it worked as a starter, great, but I think that they see him long-term as more of a relief pitching guy, as somebody that they can use in high-leverage late innings with the amount of movement that he has on his stuff. But when your rotation at the major league level gets banged up with Bubic and Reagans, and then your starting pitching depth, right, with Bergert as well as your top pitching prospect and Ben Kudrna are both sidelined with season-ending injuries, you're sort of thrust into, I'm sorry, but we have to throw you into the rotation. And to the Royals' credit, I had a deep-seated fear that they were going to do it with Daniel Lynch, that they were going to try to take Daniel Lynch out of the bullpen and throw him into the rotation. And it's like, well, hold on. He's been your best reliever, so maybe we don't do that. So at least they decided to keep a good thing where it should stay in Daniel Lynch. But this whole back and forth with Luinder Avila at a really important stage of his career where he is trying to find his footing at the highest level of professional baseball, I don't feel like it's been of the greatest. It's been a disservice to him is basically the best way that I can phrase it.
Yeah, I agree. And now that this is a lost season, they can move forward with, hey, what's best for Luinder Avila? Before, when this team had expectations and Luinder Avila was a bullpen guy / a spot starter, I understood that more. I look at what they did with Chris Bubic 2 years ago when he came back from injury. He was their 8th inning guy in that playoff run. Even though he is a starting pitcher, it's like, hey, we're happy with the rotation. Maybe he doesn't have the length that he usually has, and he's doing well in this role, so we're going to use him as a reliever. If this team was winning, I'd be fine if Luinder Avila was deployed in that bullpen role that you described. But now that it's a lost season, now that injuries have piled up, I expect Luinder Avila, he should, if I was running the team, which thankfully I'm not, he would be a part of this rotation for the rest of the season because he is, and you mentioned another one like Ben Kudrna, guys like that are what's going to give this team any shot at contending in the next few years. Because Lugo and Waka, if they don't get traded, whether at the deadline or in the offseason, they've got one more season before free agency, and they're aging. So this one good thing out of this regime the last couple of years, since they moved on from Dayton Moore, is the development and the acquisition, the identification of starting pitching talent. So I don't want to get too big picture here based on one player, but is that totally fixed? Can they keep doing it with guys like Avila and Kolek? That's my biggest thing down the stretch here. And so coming back from that disaster last Friday night is a big positive for me.
No question about it. I'm in the same boat as you are. 913-586-7965 is our number. And that feels really hard to kind of wrap your head around too, is looking ahead, right, with this Royals baseball team. Because like we said earlier, this team, we were looking forward to a team that was going to compete for the AL Central.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be this way.
It wasn't supposed to be like this. And now, all of a sudden, despite the fact that you're 75 games now into a 162-game season, you haven't even reached the halfway point, the possibility of making the postseason feels completely unrealistic. It's untenable at this point in the year. And so this mindset shift of, okay, what about next year? What about 2 years from now? And then in the back of your mind, right, and this is the thing that I feel like has been the biggest hurdle for Royals fans, is looking ahead to the future while also continuing to understand that you're doing so. And I can only imagine this is kind of the way that Los Angeles Angels fans felt for 10 years, is you're halfway through the year and you're already looking ahead to what next year looks like and the young prospects and guys that can take a leap to the next level, while also featuring the best five-tool player in baseball, the best all-around position player in Major League Baseball today is Bobby Witt Jr. Aaron Judge, you could argue that he's a better player because of the bat that he has. He hits for average, he draws a ton of walks, and he mashes the baseball. Shohei Ohtani is the best player in baseball because he's doing something that has never been done before, right? The guy has the potential of hitting 40 home runs, stealing 40 bases, and having an ERA south of 2 and winning a Cy Young all at the same time. Okay, can't argue with that. Those two players are better players because they are extraordinary in one facet or two facets of what they do. But in terms of speed on the base pass, his glove, his arm, his ability to hit for contact and hit for power, Bobby Witt Jr. is the best all-around player in baseball. And yet, despite the fact that he's playing at an MLB level, despite the fact that he is the major league leader in WAR right now, we're having to look ahead to next season, possibly even to the 2028 season. And that's a really, really tough pill to swallow when you look at some of the players around Bobby in this organization. You feel like they're just a couple of pieces away. And the most frustrating part, I think, of all of it is that many of us Royals fans, I think you and I included, Nathan, have been a little bit frustrated over the past couple of seasons about the lack of, I don't want to say desire because that feels like the wrong phrase, the lack of aggressiveness in adding other pieces, in going out and finding an everyday left fielder that isn't a 28-year-old rookie who finished in the top 5 with the Milwaukee Brewers in Isaac Collins, who I feel like has done a couple of good things, but he's in a platoon system with Lane Thomas and Starling Marte. It feels like they're putting Band-Aids on amputations a little bit. I don't know how else to describe it, and you needed more bullpen help. The biggest move they've made, they went out and got Matt Strahm last offseason. And so far, that has been a failed experiment. He has not been what people expected him to be. He's allowed an earned run in, 9 straight games or something now? He did it again today, gave up an earned run.
Feels like he gives up a 2-run homer every time he touches the mound. I see, and I think this is what you meant in that we looked at this team and wished they made more moves because we felt they were a few moves away. I no longer feel that way about this organization. I'm looking at this team, and in the lineup, obviously you trust Bobby and Jack Caglione. They're the only two guys hitting at a significantly above league average rate this season. And I do imagine, I know you can't get 7 new guys in one offseason. I imagine Michael Garcia and Carter Jensen have solidified roles in the future of this lineup as well. They need to turn over half of that lineup. I'm done listening to justifications for a Michael Massey injury or big plans for Kyle Isbell or Nick Lofton. I love John Rave going deep today. We can't move forward as if this team is close when they are running out this lineup. You're hitting Lane Thomas 4th. You're a game and a half ahead of the Rockies for the worst record in baseball.
Yeah.
And they're the only team with a worse run differential than you. And you trust nobody out of that bullpen besides Daniel Lynch. So, add the rest of the bullpen up and half of the lineup. I'm talking about you're half a roster away. So this is, to bring it full circle, it's why you have to look at something like Luinder Avila today and say, look, maybe the rotation can be set going into next season. Maybe once this good health comes back around, maybe we can start there and move forward because it could be a long and miserable offseason if it's like the last few and not a whole lot of moves are made.
And you talk about, and I'm with you, looking at this organization needing to turn over 10 or 12, 13, easily double digits, the number of guys that you have to figure out and find replacements for at the major league level. And you have no shot at doing that internally over the next year. I would argue in some places over the next 2 years, because the most frustrating part of all of this is that the Royals do have some really good prospects in their system, right? I look at the Royals' top right, Kendry Churrio. He just got called up to high A after he was utterly ridiculous down in low A in Colombia in what do you have, 11 starts down there and pitched a 1.88 ERA. He didn't lose a single game. He walked 9 batters in 48 innings. He was extremely efficient down there, but he just got called up to high A. You look at the Royals' top 10 prospects, 2 of them are in Double A or higher. Drew Beam, who is 23 years old, pitching in Double A right now, and Ben Kudrna, who is out for the year with an elbow injury. The Royals' top 5 prospects in their system are either in low A or high A right now. and their 6th ranked prospect is in rookie ball. The help is not on the way, courtesy of your farm system, at least not substantial, possibly, above average or star caliber help. You're a few years away from that. And so that's maybe the worst part of all of this, is that where the Royals need help. There's just not a clear avenue as to where it's coming from. 913-586-7965 is our number. We'll talk a little bit more Royals here when we come back. Don't forget Jordan Foote joining us at 6:30. Maybe break up a little bit of the Royals monotony and talk some Chiefs as we get further and further into the offseason and anxiously await the 26-27 season for the Kansas City Chiefs. Logan Weber here with you alongside Nathan Williams. You're listening to After Hours, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Whoa. Liberty Mutual customized this song for you. Whoa. Like your car insurance, it's custom too, yeah. Liberty Mutual's got the coverage that could save you money. Thanks to Doug and Limu, well now you can go and take that cruise. Liberty, 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 yeah.
Father's Day's right around the corner, and if you're looking for a great way to treat Dad, just make one stop at Hy-Vee. They have absolutely everything you need to make it his best day ever. We're talking about the best beef in the Midwest, from massive T-bones and grass-fed fillets to incredible Wagyu strip loins. Plus, you can grab a bottle of top-shelf whiskey from the spirits department or save 40 cents a gallon when you buy $50 and select retail gift cards. Skip the stress and get everything you need to celebrate Dad, all in one stop, only at Hy-Vee.
This Father's Day, crown your dad King of the Grill with a best in the Midwest thick-cut steak from Hy-Vee. Your dad deserves only the highest quality, hand-selected Midwestern beef. This Thursday through Sunday, stock up for summer during Hy-Vee's biggest steak sale ever. Score huge savings on all of Dad's grilling favorites, including T-bones, fillets, ribeye, and strip steaks. Don't miss the biggest steak sale ever this Thursday through Sunday, only at Hy-Vee.
On the biggest stage in the world, FanDuel's changing the game. Because sometimes your player gets subbed off and your bet goes with them. Not anymore with FanDuel's Super Sub. If your player's subbed out, your bet stays in. That's right. If your player leaves the match, your bet continues on with the substitute. Your bet stays alive, keeping you in the action longer. So you're still in it until the final whistle. Super Sub covers the entire game, including extra time. Visit FanDuel.com/local to get started now. Look for the yellow Super Sub icon on the game page and the My Bets page. If your player leaves the match due to substitution or injury, your bet automatically transfers to the substitute who replaces them. Go to FanDuel.com/local. That's FanDuel.com/local. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook's the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 in President, Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
If you miss being able to finish a road trip playlist on a road trip, we can help. Just take it to Telly. Schedule your service at tellytire.com.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
From backyard barbecues to homegrown herbs, the best parts of summer start at Lowe's. Right now, get 3 Ferry Morse 1.3 quart vegetables and herbs for just $12. Plus, get 4 bags of Miracle-Gro 0.75 cubic foot garden soil for only $10. Whether you're planting something new or giving your garden a refresh, now's the time to make the most of your outdoor space. Save more on what you need this summer at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 6/24 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Tonight, expect a mostly clear night with a low of 67.
Weather brought to you by Duke's Mayo. Welcome to Duke's Mayo Country, where the mayo is so smooth and creamy, it makes every bite better. Duke's Mayo. Look for the yellow lid.
The Down to the World Soccer Championship is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. Visit bluekc.com/benefit of blue for more information. You already know that every Royals game is right here on 96.5 The Fan. But if you're looking for more Royals coverage, tune in to hear Royals insider Josh Fernier throughout the week. He joins Fesco and Dusty every Monday morning at 8:20. Cody and Gold every Wednesday at 12:30. And he joins The Drive every Friday at 3. Miss anything? Check it out on the show podcast or All Things Fern Channel, wherever you get your podcasts. This is your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
Well, you just never know where it's going to come from in the text line. I don't know. Did you see this message from this 816, Nathan? It says, this person says, and I quote, Jack is terrible. It says Jack Caglianone's bad. It says he's got 4 hits in the last 2 series and only 1 RBI. Okay. So let's just, let's take a peek here really quick at Jack Caglianone's season thus far. Did he get off to a poor start? Yeah, absolutely he did. I don't think anybody would argue with that sentiment. He hit 200 in limited ABs in March. He hit 256 in April. He hit only 220 in May. But so far in June, the guy's hitting 388. And 2-hit days against the Reds twice in that series at Cincinnati. He had 3 hits in 7 at-bats against the Minnesota Twins back in early June on the road. He had that extraordinary series against the Texas Rangers where he went 3 for 3, 4 for 5, and 2 for 4. He had a 2-hit day yesterday against the Washington Nationals, including a double in that one. I'm sorry, I don't quite understand the sentiment that the guy's terrible when it seems to me like in the last month, dating back to, I would say like May 7th, the guy's hitting above 300 in the last month and a half for a guy that has still, to this point in his career, the guy's not played a full major league season yet. He's only played in 130 career games. Mm-hmm. How are we saying he's terrible when he's 23 years old and is hitting over 380 this month?
My favorite part about this, and this is my favorite part to respond to texters like this, my favorite way to do so, and you did it, so kudos to you, is when you call out the rage bait, like, hey, man, great job. And usually they just stop texting back at that point. They're like, okay, it's fun interaction. He hits us back. He's like, it's not rage bait, it's stats, yada, yada, yada. Stats that show he's a top 75 hitter by OPS in the major leagues. Stats that show he's the second best on this team behind Bobby Witt Jr., and it's not that big of a gap between the two of them. Bobby obviously does other things well, defensively, speed, everything. It's not just hitting, but like from just a power perspective, he's got 1 homer more than Cags. Like Jack Caglianone has had a fantastic season, especially relative to where he finished last year. When we thought of him at the end of last season. What did we below 600 OPS last year? I think the guy hit below 200 as well on the year. This is a guy where we said, hey, if he could just be league average, that's a win. And his OPS is flirting with 800. I'm going to take that out of Cags. Yeah,
looking at his numbers, you mentioned the numbers from him last year to this year. So we're at a pretty similar point. He's only played in 7 more games this year than he did last year, right? 62 games last year. He's played in 69 games this season. He's got, last year in 210 ABs, he had 33 hits, 6 doubles, only 1 triple, and 7 home runs. He hit 157. This year, in 7 more games, in only 22 more at-bats, he has 62 hits, 29 more hits on 22 more at-bats. He's got twice the amount of doubles with 12, and he's got 8 home runs and 1 triple. I think that's maybe the biggest complaint you can make in regards to Jack Caglianone right now. I think people expected the power numbers to be a little bit bigger than they are right now, and I can understand, a little bit of disappointment in that situation, but he's hitting .267 with a .341 on base percentage. He's not striking out a ton, not nearly as much as I would have expected him to. Certainly, I think you can argue that he's seeing the ball a little bit better than he did a year ago, with a .237 on base percentage compared to a .341 this year. And look at his WAR, which I am not a wins above replacement guy. I think that it is an inherently skewed statistic, but a negative 1.3 WAR last year to a 1.4 WAR this year in a pretty similar sample size, almost a 3 WAR difference from year to year. I mean, I don't know what we're expecting of a 23-year-old in his first full major league season, and not to mention in a situation where until very recently, he wasn't getting to be an everyday player. He wasn't being allowed to hit against left-handed bats. He was being platooned in right field, and the Royals were more or less thrust into a situation where he had to become an everyday player with the injury to Vinny Pasquantino, where he has to be in right field or at first base or DHing on nearly an everyday basis. And then you throw in the injury to Kyle Isbell, and it makes you even more thin in the outfield. And he's really taken advantage of that. He's been the Royals' second best hitter this year in terms of guys that you would consider everyday or close to everyday players. I mean, that's not a small thing to ask of a 23-year-old at this point in his career when you've got other all-stars in the lineup like Maikel Garcia, or a guy that hit 30 home runs and 100 RBIs last year in both Salvador Perez and Vinny Pasquantino. And somehow the 23-year-old who everybody was so concerned about last year, he's been your second best player and is in the conversation for the American League Player of the Month in June, once this, if he continues along this trajectory for the next 13, 14 days.
If Jack Caglione hits like he's hitting this season for the rest of his career, just the same batting average, OPS, power rates, you're probably looking back as it being a hit. I mean, even compared to the expectations that you had for him in the draft. He's on pace to be a 20-plus homer a year guy. Like I said, OPS around 800. That's a near all-star level player. And this is a guy that we thought a few months ago might not be worthy of being on the roster to start the year. I'm going to take that 10 out of 10 times.
And I can't help but think about, and we'll take a break here in just a moment. We'll have Jordan Foote on with us to talk a little Chiefs. I can recall, I spent 5 years prior to moving back up here to Kansas City working in Springfield. And, of course, the city of Springfield, that's where the St. Louis Cardinals AA affiliate is. So it's big Cardinals territory down there. And many, many conversations were had over the years about Jordan Walker in St. Louis and what his career was going to look like. Because it felt like the Cardinals might have tried to jump the gun in his situation. They thrust him in a little bit early. There was a serious mishandling, I think, of Jordan Walker early in his career. He got called up. He did really good things with St. Louis. They sent him down. They called him back up, and he just lost it. And then they kept this up and down thing going in 2024. Last year in 2025, they just threw him in right field every day and said, figure it out. And he was bad. And now this year, the guy's probably an all-star in the National League, and he's 24 years old. Cardinals fans were ready to write Jordan Walker off when he was 22, 23 years old. And now here he is at age 24, having the best season of his career. We're not even at the halfway point. This man already has career highs in home runs and RBIs. Already, he's hitting .288 with a .341 on base percentage. His OPS is almost .880 this year. If Cardinal fans had gotten their way, Jordan Walker wouldn't be a member of this roster. And now he is one of the best right fielders in the National League. To say Jack Caglione is terrible at 23 years old before he's even reached 162 career games played is preposterous to me, especially when you consider the fact that he's been your second best hitter this year. 913-586-7965 is our number. Jordan Foote will join us next. We'll talk some Kansas City Chiefs here as OTAs get finished up, news surrounding Rashee Rice today, and so much more. Stay with us. Logan Weber alongside Nathan Williams. This is After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports, 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports, 96.5 The Fan.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Taking a look at the futures market for the big international soccer tournament, France is now the favorite, plus 375, followed by Spain at plus 500, England and Portugal at plus 700, Argentina plus 800, Brazil at plus 900. And I liked France before the tournament, and I like France even more now with Spain drawing in its first game against Cape Verde. Spain might have to play Argentina in the first knockout round. France was awesome in the second half yesterday against Senegal. France plus 375 to win the big international soccer tournament. That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Missouri only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly.
We all have that one painting project we've been putting off. For me, it was the exterior. I finally called CertaPro Painters, and you know what? I wish I'd done it sooner. They provide a free estimate quickly and at the right price. And what I loved most was the communication. I never had to wonder what was next because they provided reliable daily updates. They treat your home with respect, like it deserves. So schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro Painter's business is independently owned and operated.
This summer, grab a Truly Hard Seltzer. Light, bubbly, fruity, and make your dreams come truly. Join us for our game day watch parties on June 12th, 19th, and 25th at Peanuts locations. Truly Hard Seltzer, the official hard seltzer of U.S. Soccer. Visit Odyssey.com/965thefan for more info on watch parties. And visit TrulyHardSeltzer.com/locations to find Truly near you. Hard Seltzer Beverage Company, LLC, Boston, Massachusetts. Hard Seltzer, 5% alcohol by volume. Please drink responsibly. 21 plus only.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It is out of here.
Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the seventh inning stretch of a televised baseball game,
We'll be back after this.
it's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate or BPH could be the cause, and Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
After Hours here on 96.5 The Fan, Logan Weber alongside Nathan Williams. Hopefully we'll have a chance to visit with Jordan Foote coming up here in just a little bit. But I mean, looking ahead at the Royals now, series tomorrow, 3 games in Kansas City against the St. Louis Cardinals. I mean, we were just talking about the St. Louis Cardinals, trying to compare sort of the career trajectory of Jordan Walker and seeing some, I see some similarities with how Jack Caglione has been utilized. And hopefully it looks like Jordan Walker is on the other side and he's really started to figure it out, and hoping for something very, very similar in regards to Jack Caglione at the same time. It looks like it's going to be Noah Cameron against Matthew Liberatore tomorrow. St. Louis is seemingly having the season that I think some of us expected for the Kansas City Royals. They sort of flip-flopped. Like, the Royals had no expectations surrounding them whatsoever. Or excuse me, the Cardinals had no expectations. The Royals did. And now we're in a very different spot. The Cardinals with a very young roster. They've offloaded so many big-name guys, Goldschmidt and Arenado and Sonny Gray, so many, Wilson Contreras, these guys they gave huge money to, and now they're winning. And the Royals, a team that many thought would compete for the AL Central Division crown and make a push at the postseason, doesn't appear to be the case. On the line with us right now is Jordan Foote. He's a longtime writer and reporter. He's been covering the Kansas City Chiefs for many, many years now. And Jordan, first thing I've got for you is, of course, yesterday, Rashee Rice is officially released after his 30-year sentence for his probation violation. I'm curious from your perspective, what are you hearing? What's the latest with Rashee Rice? What should an expectation be for him as this offseason continues to progress and we approach week 1 of the regular season?
It still sounds very weird to even fathom that. It's almost like a Mad Lib kind of describing what's been going on with Rashee Rice and the Kansas City Chiefs. But the silver lining, I guess you could say, is the knee injury. He was allowed to receive treatment at a local hospital in Dallas for that knee. It was a relatively minor surgery to clean up like some loose bodies that were inflaming it. So if everything does go as planned, and we're tracking the timeline of the week before he went into jail to serve out that 30-day sentence, the 2-month point would be putting him on track to be available, be ready for Chiefs training camp. This year, it seems to be starting a little bit later. The 29th is the latest Chiefs training camp date that I can really remember as far as a kickoff point. So he has that working in his favor. He had the treatment while he was in jail working in his favor. So it definitely a bad situation. Don't get me wrong, but judging by the video, this is another part of the ad lib of him breaking into a jog as he's exiting the facility and getting into an SUV. He's moving okay, but that is definitely a far cry from being able to run, cut, jump in a classic Andy Reid training camp.
And, of course, the Chiefs just finished up with OTAs over the last couple of weeks, and we saw a few different things. One of those, one of the bigger storylines, is just how involved in the voluntary workouts that Patrick Mahomes was. I think that was a very encouraging sign. I think it leads many, including myself, to believe that the expectation should be Patrick Mahomes is behind center for the Kansas City Chiefs week 1. Do you share that sentiment, or is there something that you're seeing or hearing that may still need to be addressed as we get closer to the start of the season?
No, I think it's really more of the same. And if Patrick Mahomes is continuing along the path that he's shown so far in this rehab process, and you track it all the way back to, I think it was like December 14th or 15th that he sustained the ACL and LCL injury. You have more than enough time, and it's kind of been an interesting thing to see how it's been labeled, I guess you could say, online of, oh, he heals faster than anybody, and he's attacking it 1,000%, and he's superhuman and all of that. That is true. Don't get me wrong. He does come back from injuries quick. He is superhuman. Insane in the best of ways as an athlete, but there's also enough time for him to come back. And if this was me or you, a random, let's say, average player, they'd go out there and say the same thing. Okay, well, this amount of time, you get your 8-9 months, and you hope that you're tracking for week one. And I do believe that the quickness they acted with to get that surgery done the day after or 2 days after, as opposed to some athletes, and it may have been Malik Neighbors, where there was some swelling and him and the Giants kind of waited a little bit for that to come down. That turned into a few weeks. Now he could be starting on the PUP list and has had some complications. Micah Parsons has been a little bit iffy in his recovery, so Mahomes plays a position that allows him to get back out there a little bit quicker maybe. He hasn't had the complications and setbacks, and we always take for granted maybe that isn't always going to be the case. So all has gone well on the recovery front. He has been more involved than I thought he'd be at this point in the offseason, but I believe Andy Reid kind of framed it best, where the Chiefs are rewarding him a little bit for the hard work that he's put in, for the progress that he's made, the diligence he's attacked it with, but also they're being very smart, and they're not going to overload the face of the franchise, the face of the NFL, if they don't have to. So, again, all good news, definitely still cautious, but at this point I would be fairly surprised if he wasn't the week one starter for the Chiefs.
It seemed like there was a much different atmosphere surrounding OTAs and so far the majority of the offseason and summer workouts for the Chiefs than we had been accustomed to over the last few years. And a lot of the reporting has been that a huge chunk of that can be attributed to the return of Eric Bieniemy, as well as the additions of DeMarco Murray and Chad O'Shea as running backs and wide receivers coach, respectfully. I'm curious, from what you saw and what you heard over the course of the last couple of weeks, is that something that is an accurate depiction of what we saw from OTAs, and how have the players and other coaches on this staff kind of reacted to this newfound sense of urgency and aggressiveness in attacking the 26-27 season?
Listen, Logan, we are about to find out whether it is the chicken or the egg. Is it, oh my goodness, the sky is falling, the chicken little of it all, and it's Andy Reid's fault, and the scheme is stale, and they need to make all these adjustments? Or was it some bad luck? Was it some injuries? Was it a suspension to Rashee Rice for part of the year? Was it an Xavier Worthy injury? Was it the just objectively bad personnel they had in the run game? Was it those things, or was it, okay, this is really getting to the end of the line in terms of what the Chiefs can they kind of get the juice? Is that squeeze still there with Andy Reid? I think that we're going to find out, because they've made so many changes around Reid on the offensive coaching staff, and Chad O'Shea having a more proven wide receivers coach, with all respect to Connor Embry. I think that this is good for the room. DeMarco Murray coming up to the NFL and having that experience there is going to be huge. The Bieniemy factor, the Chiefs are leaning all the way into it. It seems that the players really do love him. Now, we could check back in a month and a half, and then when training camp is up and running, I'm sure there would be a couple different answers until that's over with. But the Chiefs had a longer offseason than they typically do. They're better rested than they typically are. The players had that mental edge back more than they always do. Reid, the same thing can be said for him. So all of those things, a lot of people will tend to think that they're a little bit overrated, but the mental fatigue of having the run that they just had, the extended dominance they just had, the maybe getting a little bit high on your own supply of, okay, we think that we can get this all done with the players we have. Now, the wide receiver room is still skating on extremely thin ice. There is a world where that does kind of hold the team back at the end of the year, but we are going to find out whether this coaching staff, if it was an Andy Reid thing, if it was a surrounding talent thing, if it was fortune, we will get some answers. And I think that bringing Bieniemy back, bringing in Chad O'Shea, all of that is going to be beneficial to getting those answers.
So far, it appears that way, no doubt about it. And, looking at the news today for for some Chiefs fans, I think that there was some disappointing news that came out. Cam Jordan signing a 1-year deal to go back to the New Orleans Saints. There was never anything overly definitive about this mutual interest that existed between the Chiefs and Cam Jordan and his camp. But, Chris Jones was vocal about it on social media. Cam Jordan himself even took to social media a few times talking about different things with the Chiefs, excited about Travis Kelce's return, so on and so forth. But with this move ultimately kind of falling on its face for the Chiefs, I'm curious, is there any other names out there? And it doesn't necessarily even have to be an edge rusher that you think the Chiefs could try to attract before the season begins to try to help with some added depth at a key position like they were seemingly, reportedly trying to do by trying to bring Cam Jordan over from New Orleans?
You make a really good point, Logan, about where they could add some depth and competition and maybe even starter level talent. They came into the 2026 NFL draft needing a quality defensive end and a quality wide receiver. And they came out of the 2026 NFL draft. You can make the case they still need a quality defensive end, a quality wide receiver. Now, Ashton Gelati seems very hyped up to potentially command that full-time starting role or full-ish time starting role. R. Mason Thomas, he can probably factor in on some third downs. I'm sure that he's probably a year away from being like the fully materialized starting level player if he turns into one. But they are really, really, really not impressive at the edge group. That was even before the R. Mason Thomas pick. That's not going to completely save the group. So you look at the free agent board, I believe Joey Bosa is still out there. There have been some rumblings that maybe he's going to join up with his brother. Yetur Gross-Matos from the 49ers is out there. The corpse of Von Miller, I just don't think it's going to really help the Chiefs at this point. Names like Kyle Van Noy maybe jump out at you. We can play the Jadeveon Clowney game again. It seems like that's been uttered for the Chiefs for years, but relatively slim pickings, and this is not to say that they should have brought back Mike Dana. It's not to say that they should have re-signed Charles Omenihu. They need upgrades over that, and Cam Jordan was kind of the perfect blend of veteran leadership, scheme fit, potential price point fit. It would be a one-year rental. It is a shame if you're the Chiefs and you were seriously in on that guy that he went back, but there are names out there, and it's not just the edge market. They can keep monitoring the Tyreek Hill thing. That seems to be everyone's flavor of the offseason right now. Stephon Diggs and his situation seems to be legally resolved, and he can objectively still help out as a wide receiver. Keenan Allen, the Chiefs fans probably won't enjoy to hear that name because he's been a thorn in their side for so many years. But if he comes in and is your wide receiver 2.5, 3.5, whatever the case may be, the Chiefs can get help at the positions they need assistance at. The issue is the longer you wait this offseason, the higher risk you run that a player of Cam Jordan's caliber ends up signing back with the team, and then you're left back to the drawing board.
Of course, the big news last week, and we didn't get a chance to talk a week ago with the Chiefs, was the re-signing of L'Jarius Sneed just 2 years after they traded him to Tennessee, and he signed that massive deal with the Titans. What, in your view, is a realistic season for L'Jarius Sneed? What kind of impact can he have? Is it off the field? Is it more off the field in practice, trying to help some of the younger guys in these recent free agent acquisitions get accustomed to the way that Steve Spagnuolo and the Chiefs do things? What do you think he can make the biggest impact on for the Chiefs this year?
I think it's got to just be adding depth. Like if L'Jarius Sneed is playing 17, get really double-digit games in a premium capacity, and this isn't to say he could play, let's say, all 17 regular season games, and if they get to the playoffs, 1, 2, 3 more of those, in a supporting role of 10, 15 snaps, that is a totally different story than L'Jarius Sneed being one of the 2 or 3 primary cornerbacks on the team. That would either mean that he turned back the clock in a major way and the Chiefs looked like geniuses, or on the flip side, things went catastrophically wrong at the cornerback spot. They burned through multiple options. I don't put too much, like an overabundance of amount into the OTA minicamp rotations and thoughts, but it seems like the buzz has been Snead more of a nickel prospect for them right now coming into training camp. I am definitely keeping an eye on where that goes because Kader Kohu coming off the injury, not super proven, but I do think probably has the inside track for it. But then you factor in a Jaden Kennedy that they picked up in the draft. The options there are legitimate. As long as Christian Fulton is on the team, I think the Chiefs have a handful of million reasons to be trying to get him on the field. He looked a lot better at the end of last season. So these things, and maybe to make the soft comparison, Logan, to let's say an outfield logjam for MLB teams when they're getting into spring training, and you say, okay, well, they have 6 guys and they only have 3 starting spots, or they have 5 guys that are legitimately worthy of getting reps. Oftentimes you'll see a guy get injured, you'll see one guy get dealt. These things probably have a way of sorting themselves out, but L'Jarius Sneed just couldn't really get going with the Titans. It was a couple of years just filled with injuries, inconsistent play. He's not what he once was. The Chiefs willingly let him go because they thought that knee was in a bad spot. Those things probably don't improve over the course of time, so it's definitely going to sound like I'm down on the signing of L'Jarius Sneed, but on the contrary, it's low risk and maybe a respectable reward. So I think it's good business by Brett Veach. It didn't keep them from signing anybody else. It's kind of a break glass in case of emergency thing. When you're trying to get young, you're trying to transform that cornerback room. They could definitely do worse than getting a guy like him, but the problem comes down to it's got to be realistic in terms of expectation.
Yeah, I completely agree with that sentiment. If nothing else, he can be that guy that can help Mansour Delane and Jaden Kennedy and some of these young corners understand what it means to play the cornerback position or be a defensive back under Steve Spagnuolo and Dave Merritt, and what this Chiefs defense has become all about during the course of this Super Bowl run that they've been on for the last half decade plus. Jordan, appreciate you taking the time tonight, my man. Insightful as always. Hopefully we'll get some chances here as we get further and further into the off season to talk about what we all hope to be a resurgent year for the Chiefs in 26-27.
Yep, sounds good, brother. Thanks a lot.
No problem at all. That is Jordan Foote, writer, reporter covering the Kansas City Chiefs, joining us. We went super long on that interview, but wanted to get a chance to sit down and talk a little Chiefs with Jordan. So we've got a long break coming up. Stay with us, though. News surrounding the Kansas City Royals that just dropped a little bit ago. The Royals have made a trade acquiring a pitcher, and some not so good news on the injury front for another Royals arm. Stay with us. Logan Weber alongside Nathan Williams, After Hours, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Hi, this is Kevin Harlan, and I'm here with Rob Seid at Rob Seid Ford. Rob, I smell a grill. What's cooking?
Kevin, the grills are fired up, and so are the deals. Right now at Rob Seid Ford, it's the Ford Employee Pricing Sales Event with the best deals we've had in the past 12 months.
Now that's saying something. What are we talking?
Employee pricing on virtually every new Ford on our lot, plus even more dealer discounts on top.
So how hot do these deals get?
Up to $17,500 off brand new F-150s at Rob Seid Ford, plus huge savings on Expedition, Explorer, Bronco Sport, Bronco, and more.
Wow, that's 5 alarm hot.
Exactly, and unlike Kevin's Burgers, these deals are coming out juicy.
All right, I walked into that one.
Shop Rob Seid Ford, Kansas City's top-rated Ford store on Google. 4.8 stars and nearly 3,500 reviews.
Rob Seid Ford, 135th and State Line, or robseid.com.
Buy right, Rob Seid.
Staples presents Celebrations Made Easy.
I was throwing a party for the twins and had custom invites and a banner printed at Staples. And that's when I saw Party City is now at Staples.
Party City? No way!
So now Staples has all your printing needs and everything you need for a party.
Everything times 2.
And now at Staples, save 25% on all custom banners.
Party City is now at Staples.
that was easy.
Shop staples in-store, online, or on the app. Some banners available same day when ordered by 12 p.m. Ins 8-1 exclusions apply.
Having unexpected car trouble or just in a car accident? You need Jay's Southland Tow Service. They have 20 years of experience and service the KC metro area. They specialize in light, medium, and heavy duty, also in commercial transport and construction equipment. Keep this number handy, 816-779-4TOW, or go to southlandtow.com. Use the tow service trusted by most local police departments, Jay's Southland Tow. There's nothing they can't do, so be in the know and use Jay's Southland Tow.
Max Minute on Twitter and Instagram every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, and Odyssey Sports Station.
When Kansas City storms roll through, hail and wind can damage your roof without you even realizing it. If your home was hit, call us at Century Roofing for a free inspection today. We handle every step with your insurance company, making the process stress-free and easy for you. For over 35 years and more than 35,000 roofs, we've been protecting Kansas City homes. Let us protect yours. Trust the pillars of strength with KC-based and female-owned. Century Roofing, KC.com.
Century Roofing, trust the pillars of strength.
Right, soccer fans, listen up. If you'd like a proper celebration, come on, you know where to go this summer. Gordon Ramsay Steak inside Harrah's Kansas City is the place to be. Now, we're talking beautiful marble cuts, cooked to absolute utter perfection, and flavors you can't get anywhere else. Stop settling for mediocre and let me help you. Come in, sit down, and let my team show you how to cook a proper steak. Now, 21 or older to gamble, know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This Father's Day, skip the tie and find something at Target he'll really love. Is he into a fresh look? Don't miss 40% off Goodfellow polos and shorts so he can give that one shirt a break. Maybe he's in chill mode. Buy two, get one free on music and books. Perfect for a night in his way. Or go with a men's fragrance from $29.99, the kind he didn't know he needed and won't stop wearing. Make Dad's Day, only at Target. Restrictions apply.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Baseball season is in full swing, and that means the summer heat is coming. The guys at Climate Control have been serving KC homeowners for over 35 years, and they know how to get your cooling system ready to handle our scorching hot summer weather. Stay cool and comfortable this summer. Call Climate Control today at 816-265-2830. 816-265-2830 for all your cooling, heating, and plumbing needs. Don't wait. Visit ClimateControlKC.com today. Climate Control Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Join 96.5 The Fan and Circus Sports for Parlays and Pints with Mac Morey and Drew Nixon at Beckett's in the Crossroads this Saturday, June 20th from 3 to 5. Enjoy prices, cold drinks, and sports talk. Circus Sports. Sports betting the way it should be. Visit circusports.com. Gomer's voted KC's #1 liquor store, family owned and operated since 1969. With excellent price, selection, and service, Gomer's has helped customers find the perfect libation for any occasion for over 50 years.
When it's time to find the good stuff you're looking for, you find it at Gomer's.
This Father's Day, spoil your dad with everything Gates Barbecue. Be sure to visit your local grocer for Gates sauces and seasonings. Both are delicious on meats, fish, chicken, veggies like broccoli and spinach, and on hot buttered popcorn, even as a topping for dips or sprinkle Gates seasonings on chips and nuts to add that extra flavor pop. Nothing says Father's Day like a Gates party tray, sure to please everyone at the table. Be sure to prepare your Father's Day meal with Gates sauces and seasonings. So head to Gates Barbecue this Father's Day. Gates Barbecue, thanks with love.
Sun Cruiser is the official ready-to-drink canned cocktail of the U.S. Open and U.S. Women's Open. We're excited to bring our vodka iced teas and lemonades to golfers and drinkers everywhere, and support these two prestigious championships and their fans with a refreshing Sun Cruiser vodka iced tea. Crisp, clean, and no carbonation for the perfect sipper on the course. Join us for the U.S. Open watch party with special giveaways on June 18th and 19th at Minsky's locations. Visit odyssey.com/965thefan for details. Please drink responsibly.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Taking a look at the futures market for the big international soccer tournament, France is now the favorite, plus 375, followed by Spain at plus 500, England and Portugal at plus 700, Argentina plus 800, Brazil at plus 900. And I liked France before the tournament, and I like France even more now, with Spain drawing in its first game against Cape Verde. Spain might have to play Argentina in the first knockout round. France was awesome in the second half yesterday against Senegal. France plus 375 to win the big international soccer tournament. That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Missouri only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly.
The world's game at BetMGM is here. Bet on the soccer showdowns with 2-up early payout, so that if you're up 2, BetMGM will pay you. That's right. Place a pre-game straight match results bet on any tournament game. If at any point your team is up by 2 goals, you'll instantly win your bet. Then enjoy BetMGM same-game parlays, daily promotions, player props, and so much more for the world's game. Don't miss your shot at an early win with 2-up early payout to get paid out if at any point your team is up by 2 goals. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. Must be 21 years of age or older. This promotional offer not available in Ontario, Pennsylvania, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. Available in the U.S. For New York, 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. New and existing customer offer, subject to eligibility requirements. Additional terms and restrictions may apply. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel, must be present in a state where it's legal to wager.
Well, despite the fact that the Kansas City Royals have the worst record, or tied, I should say, for the worst record in the American League, they're still, for some reason, acquiring players. This one came out about an hour ago. The corresponding move, however, just dropped on social media. The Royals traded for a right-handed pitcher from the Seattle Mariners today, Randy Dobnak, Dobnak. I'll be completely honest, I do not know who this individual is. He is a 31-year-old pitcher who was with the Mariners AAA affiliate. The official report is that they acquired him for cash considerations. So for the person in the text line, 913 says, so did the Royals trade for Dobnak, or did they just purchase him from a garage sale? I feel like the answer is yes, either way, more or less. I mean, for cash considerations, who knows? Just enough to fill their vending machines for a year. What was that scene in Moneyball, right? They just filled up the machines in their clubhouse for a while. He is going to be on the 40-man roster. He will not immediately be with the Royals. He's going to be down in Omaha in AAA to begin his time with Kansas City. A little bit about him. He's pitched in 140 and 2/3 career innings in Major League Baseball. The last time he pitched in the majors was in a single game last year in 2025 with the Minnesota Twins. That is where all of his Major League experience comes. He pitched 5 1/3 innings in one game of long relief. Did all right. He only gave up 1 earned run. It was a home run. But since 2021, so 2022, 23, 24, 25, and so far in 2026, over the course of the last 5 seasons, the man has appeared in 6 games, making no starts. And this year, he was in the Mariners AAA affiliate. He was with them, the Tacoma Rainiers, and had a 4.24 ERA across 70 innings. Just what the Royals needed, a minor leaguer on the other side of 30 with an ERA north of 4. Awesome.
Yeah, that's the old adage. Anytime you can get a guy with an ERA of 5 in the minor leagues, You got to jump at that opportunity. And this goes, a day, 2 days after the acquisition of Connor Siebold, who sported an 8.1 ERA in his time in the Toronto bullpen. I'm being a little pedantic. He appeared in 5 games. Wait, maybe I'm not, because his career ERA is north of 7. Yeah, Logan, look, we talked earlier tonight about how bad of a way this bullpen is in. I'm not sure that even though, yes, they should acquire some guys, I'm not really sure what the plan is here with Mr. Dobnak or Mr. Siebold. It kind of beats me.
Yeah, I don't really understand it. And if you're not thrilled about the idea of Randy Dobnak joining the Royals organization, you'll be even less thrilled with the Royals' corresponding move. And that is that Cole Reagans has now officially been placed on the 60-day IL. Now, I will admit that I'm not entirely familiar with how the injured list system works in Major League Baseball, so does taking him from the 15-day IL and moving him to the 60-day IL, does that reset the clock suddenly? Or
No.
Does all that time that he spent on the 15-day IL carry itself over to the 60-day, and it just takes him away from the active roster for a little while to make room for that guy?
It's going to take him off the active roster, off the 40-man. So it is, but the situation with Cole Reagans is not as easy as, well, now we think he'll be back in 60 days instead of whatever it's been since he hit the IL, 20, 25 days. So we got to wait 35 days to see him. The concern here is he was hurt. He began to ramp up. He suffered an unknown setback, and now he's being transferred off of the active roster. That's the concern. That's the red flag. And things like that make you think, okay, now All-Star break or later, if at all, is when we're going to see Cole Reagans again this season. So, I mean, we also touched on this in the first segment of the show today. I don't know how the Kansas City Royals can move forward acting as if Cole Reagans is going to be a part of their rotation. He has not been healthy, and when he has been healthy, he's been too inconsistent. It was a great story in the fall, the late summer and the fall of 2023, and Cole pitched really well in 2024 as well. Outside of that, his career has been bitten by the injury bug. So I'm not sure how you can move forward from this point in time saying, hey, he's our 2 or he's our 3. I think anything you get from Cole Reagans at this point here on out is a bonus, and that's really tough to say after considering the regard this organization has held him in these last few seasons.
Yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow. And of course, the conversation now this season has become, well, the Royals 2 years ago should have traded Cole Reagans when they had a chance, and they should have traded Chris Bubich. They may still elect to trade Chris Bubich. I know that he was scheduled to make a rehab start yesterday. I haven't seen any news about how that went. I will say, I'll admit, I was one of those people. I was not gung-ho about the idea of trading Cole Reagans after he had that AL Cy Young finalist season in 2024. I thought he was going to be the Royals' ace for years to come. And when he's healthy, I feel like he's capable of that. The problem is, over the last 2 seasons, he's made 11 starts. And best case scenario now is that we see him by the middle of next month in July. Mm-hmm. And that's best case scenario for this Royals baseball team. Carlos Estevez was put on the 60-day IL earlier this week. So the ace of your pitching staff and your closer, who last year led the American League in saves, your ace who finished top 3 in the AL Cy Young voting 2 years ago, both of those guys are in limbo at best for their return to this organization this year. Just another example of what can go wrong has gone wrong for the Kansas City Royals this year.
Yeah, Cole Reagans is currently the Royals' ace as much as Adalberto Mondesi was an all-star for the Kansas City Royals. It pains me to say, making 10 starts in 2 seasons, that's not even Sammy Watkins, he always misses a few weeks a year. You just got to kind of live with it. That is completely unavailable. And it's not to the fault of Cole Reagans, but that is the problem with this player, is you cannot guarantee he's going to be on the field. And you brought up Chris Bubich's rehab assignment. You'll probably be slightly dejected to hear he did have a rehab start yesterday, and he suffered shoulder soreness. He was removed from the game. They sought an opinion. It revealed no structural damage. However, they are going to not shut him down, but kind of sit him down until the soreness goes down and they can evaluate what to do from there. So no move to the 60-day IL for Chris Bubic at this point, but also no imminent return. So, I mean, look, if he can come back and show that he's healthy prior to the trade deadline, I still think there's a team that would give you something for Chris Bubic. And the Royals, they should do that. He's going to be a free agent after this year. You're probably losing 90 baseball games this year. You should get whatever you can for Chris Bubic.
Yeah, and I mean, taking a look earlier today, this morning, ESPN came out with their top 100 trade deadline candidates for Major League Baseball. And there are a considerable number of Kansas City Royals players that are included on the list. And that includes at the very top of this list that was put together by ESPN's Jeff Passan, as well as Kylie McDaniel. Michael Wacha is the number one name on this list. They have him at number 18 in Major League Baseball for trade deadline candidates. You look down the list a little bit further, Seth Lugo is at number 22 on this list. You then look at Daniel Lynch at number 35, Chris Bubic at number 42, John Schreiber at 61. Who could have seen that one coming a couple of months ago when he was getting battered in the month of March and April? Matt Strom at number 69. I'd be a little bit surprised at somebody taking a flyer on him with how much he struggled over the last, really over the course of the season, but really the last couple of weeks, where he is seemingly giving up a home run, or at least an earned run, every time he shows up on the mound. Lane Thomas at number 73, and even Starling Marte at number 97 on this list. Yeah, I expect the Royals, I would say over under 4.5, 5.5 guys that the Royals deal this trade deadline, which is, again, tough to wrap your brain around, considering many of us thought that this Royals team coming into the year was more of a buyer candidate at the deadline and is now firmly, and I mean firmly, in the seller side of things.
Yeah, I think obviously Lane Thomas and Starling Marte could, should, and will go. You're not going to get anything for them. Those are cash consideration level trades as well. I would imagine John Schreiber is a pretty definite tradee. Daniel Lynch is the one that interests me out of the bullpen, and for both of those guys, you could probably get more of a lottery ticket, a guy that's down in one of the A's, low A or high A. You're not going to get someone in an organization's top 10 or 20 prospects for either of those guys. The question is Lugo and Wacha, because that'll tell you how the Royals view the 2027 season. We've talked about Cameron, guys like Avila, Kolek, who need to make up the back half of this rotation if this team is going to be successful next year. If this team moves on, that conversation assumes that Lugo and Wacha are at the front of that thing. And if this organization moves on from one or both of those guys, it tells you how they feel about next season as well. So for me, I'm looking at three definite guys that are going to go no matter what: Thomas, Marte, and Schreiber, with Lynch kind of being in the middle there. But between the other question marks, if you set the over-under at 3.5, I'd be smashing that over.
I'm in the same. I kind of thought 5.5 immediately off the top of my head, and I'm like, man, that feels really, really high. But
it feels like a fire sale.
I'm sort of in the position that, like, I feel like that's what the Royals need.
Yeah.
Lugo and Wacha, I don't think that the way that this team is this year, barring Vinny Pasquantino returning to form, Maikel Garcia is dealing with more injuries this year than he has in the rest of his career combined thus far. Barring the Royals getting those two guys back to their 2025 form in 2027, maybe Jack Caglione can take another step. Carter Jensen becomes the guy that we saw in September of last year. I just don't see this Royals team being overly competitive in 2027 either. And then these guys just walk. This feels like the scenario. As much as I love Michael Wacha as a member of the Kansas City Royals, as much of a consistent staple that he has been, I feel like it's in the best case. It's the best situation, I believe, for both sides to go. I feel like the Royals can get the most back in return for a player like a Michael Wacha. You move on from Seth Lugo. Not to mention these guys are both, I mean, it just makes the most sense in the world to get rid of those two guys. Lynch, he feels like he could have a really, really nice price tag on him, but you still have 2 more years of team control left with Daniel Lynch.
Right.
And I don't care how bad you are, it's really difficult to justify dealing your best reliever when you still have multiple years of team control and he's on the right side of 30. But the Royals could seemingly trade away 60% of their starting pitching rotation at the deadline. They could deal Lane Thomas and Starling Marte, and it's not much skin off their back in that situation. I could see Schreiber going, like an Alex Lang. I could see him being dealt at some point as well. So 5.5 feels really steep, but then you look at the individual players and you look at the numbers and you're like, God, they could trade 8 guys at this point. And maybe that's why they're out here acquiring all these no-name pieces from other organizations for pennies on the dollar, because they know they're just going to have to start throwing guys out there once we pass the trade deadline, because this team is not going to be in a position to win.
And it just stinks. This season should not have gone this way. What you just did, the longer you talked, it talked me more and more into the fire sale, because you were doing the thing of, man, if Cags takes a step forward and Vinny turns into 2025, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it just sounds like what I've done with the Royals my entire life, save 2014 through 2017. Like, think about the 2021 season when this team just rolled out a starting rotation of all the young guys and what they were at the time, because what they were at the time was a scrap heap of garbage of the Bubiches and Lynches and Singers and Kowars and Brad Keller. That was their plan. And we're sitting here like, man, if Bubich can get a third pitch going and Singer can get a third pitch going, and if Jorge Soler can become a 48 homer guy again, and if Modesty stays there, the team lost 90 plus games, right? And we're back to doing that again. This team made the playoffs. The owner said, after we see a wild card team, I'll show you a World Series team. Nothing has happened in the last few years, and we're back to doing that. Well, if this, if that, and the third happens, it's just, we shouldn't be here. No. It stinks that we're here.
It is. It does suck. So an 816 just said, so basically we are like the Twins from last year. Yeah, maybe.
They literally called up a dozen guys at the trade deadline last year just to field a roster. And this Royals team this year was supposed to contend for the division.
And the Twins have a much better record than the Royals do right now.
Okay.
It sucks. How close is Vinny to receiving the label of being accident prone? I feel like that's up for people's interpretation. I mean, the guy deals with, to call him injury prone doesn't feel like the most apt description. Accident prone honestly kind of does, because it just, these fluke things happen to him so often. I mean, 2 years ago in that 2024 season, he was having a great year, and then he takes a ball off the hand.
It's a weird one.
Nothing he can do there. It's no fault of his own. It's not like he tried to make a diving, just sometimes weird things happen. And so, maybe accident prone is the right way to describe Vinny Pasquantino. And somehow it's harder to deal with the accident prone label with Vinny Pasquantino when he's struggling at the plate versus 2 years ago when he was hitting the cover off the baseball. I don't know, man. Being a Royals fan is tough. No question about it. Being a sports fan is tough. 913-586-7965 is our number. I feel like we just talked so much about the Royals today. I'd like to talk about something else. Can we spend a little time? Let's just discuss movies and video games and stuff, because, hey, we got some big news out of the video game world. I don't know if you guys are aware. Some big news surrounding Call of Duty, if you're at all familiar with the franchise, that I want to talk about for just a moment, get a little nostalgic. All right, Nathan and I, you and I are, around the same age, so this one might grab the attention of both of us here. Logan Weber alongside Nathan Williams. You're listening to After Hours here on your home for Kansas City Sports, 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City Sports, 96.5 The Fan.
I'm worried. Since your accident, we've got medical bills and you're missing work.
I know. I just don't know where to start.
We call SWL Injury Law the Car Crash Kings. It's what they do.
If they can help us get through this.
We've helped people just like you recover what they deserve. Visit us at SWL Injury Law today for your free consultation. We're the Car Crash Kings. It's what we do.
Visit SWLinjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
A large bank that stays tied to the community it serves? That's bold. For over 90 years, Security Bank has served the greater Kansas City area. That's longer than most of the barbecue joints around. What's our secret sauce? It's our commitment to local lending and local decisions, championing what makes Kansas City great, because Kansas City is full of champions. Speaking of which, we've been recognized as the strongest large bank in KC. Security Bank of Kansas City, member FDIC.
I can't raise my arms, I can't climb stairs, and I can't kneel down, which means I can't play with the kids, golf with the guys, or get through a workday without exhausting pain. Hey, it's Bob Fesco, and I'm here to celebrate what you can do. That's exactly what QC Kinetics patients are doing, not bracing for that next jolt of pain. It's gone. They've moved on, back to living their lives. You've heard me talk about the team at QC Kinetics, and so many of you have already been through their game-changing regenerative treatments, and it's all done right in the office. No missing work, no surgery, no long recovery. The inflammation calms down and the pain backs off. So go find out what you can do. It's a good life out there, folks. Go live it to the fullest. Let's get rid of that pain starting right now. The consultation is totally free. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone. 816-412-6299.
Water backing up? Drains slowing down? It's only going to get worse. Head off bigger problems with a $79 mainline drain cleaning from Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. Plus, a free video camera inspection to pinpoint exactly where that clog is. We'll clear the problem the right way and get your home back to normal. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
The world's biggest soccer tournament has arrived, and you can trade the entire tournament on Kalshi. On Kalshi, you can trade every match from the opening stage all the way to the final. You could be looking at one of the matchups this weekend. That's right, Ecuador versus Curacao. Maybe they can upset. Maybe even not even upset in the normal way. You could trade just for a tie. Trading at 13% right now, which means a $100 investment could see a return of $725. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there is no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time only, download the Kalshi app and use promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to get $10 when you trade 10. K-A-L-S-H-I, Kalshi, trade the beautiful game. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contracting and trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, go to Kalshi.com/regular.
So, you're ready to propose, huh?
Yeah, man. She's definitely the one.
What are we thinking about the ring? I got my wife's at Hellsberg. I couldn't recommend a better jeweler.
I could use some help with that.
Man, go to Hellsberg. I had no idea how many details you need to consider. Did you know you can get a natural or lab-grown diamond? I didn't. Figure out what she wants. Trust me, they'll make it happen.
Start your story with Hellsberg. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
The countdown to the World Soccer Championship is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. Visit bluekc.com/benefit of blue for more information.
Hey guys, it's Rob Brenton from The Drive on 96.5 The Fan. We're excited to launch Beyond the Pitch KC, a limited podcast series documenting the run-up to the World Cup with our friends at 98.1 KMBZ.
And I'm Scott Parks from Dana & Parks. This is about Kansas City, not about soccer. Telling the story of how our town ended up hosting the world's biggest sporting event.
New episodes drop every Wednesday starting on March 4th, plus video clips on 96.5 The Fan and KMBZ social channels.
Subscribe to Beyond the Pitch KC on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Nathan, remind me again. You're in your early 30s, right?
Wow. 29.
Okay, so for some reason I thought you were a couple of years older than me, so you're only a year older than I am. Okay.
I think that's right. Yeah, I think that's what we determined.
Yes, okay. So 2011, you would have been around, what, 14?
I would have been a freshman in high school, yeah.
Okay, I was in the 8th grade. So this is news that I feel like could be big for both of us. Okay.
I haven't heard this. I'm pumped.
Yeah. So this actually, like, the initial tweet came out earlier today at around 2:00, courtesy of Treyarch, which, if anybody is familiar with Treyarch, they are one of the primary gaming studios that makes Call of Duty. They say it's official. The original Call of Duty Black Ops and Black Ops 2 are being ported to PlayStation in July, courtesy of our partners at Iron Galaxy. I do not know what Iron Galaxy is. Apparently, it is an independent video game developer and studio. But beginning in July, if you have a PlayStation, you will be able to play Black Ops and Black Ops 2. And they have said that it's these two games being ported in. It will include the campaign, it will include multiplayer, and it will include zombies. My question is these going to be, is this like a remastered thing? Will they have more defined graphics? Or am I going back to the PlayStation 3 days and having to play Call of Duty on a much more pixelated platform than I was before?
Yeah.
But I have to say, my inner 13-year-old is geeked about the idea of this right now. I don't care if the graphics are 2011. I'm going to play it. I'm going to be sat in front of the TV playing Call of Duty Black Ops. That is, to this day, my favorite Call of Duty all time.
So while I am also excited, and while I will definitely be spending my money on this, and you'll see me in the lobby yelling no profanities at other people over the microphone, of course. I was not allowed to play Call of Duty until I left the house. I was not allowed to play it in my house.
Okay.
Shooters, no matter what the kind. If someone was dying in the video game, I wasn't allowed to play it. So it wasn't until college when I picked up Call of Duty. So I used to watch my friends play Black Ops 1 and 2, but I didn't get involved until later in the game. So these original maps, I know for a fact that I'm going to load into these lobbies and just get murked. Because everyone, I mean, you know how it is.
Right.
I mean, you play multiplayer. If you don't know the map, like even if you play the game frequently and you're just busy at work the week an update comes out and you miss a new map and then you load in and everyone already knows the secrets and the hiding points and you're getting sniped and you're running into traps, that's going to be me and I'm still going to love it. I get to play on Nuketown in the year 2026. I'll be there with my 0 to 20 kill to death ratio in that multiplayer match. Sign me up.
Yeah, man. I need this, honestly, because I feel like I'm reaching an age now where I have a really hard time with newer video games. Like, I don't know exactly what it is. Like certain game, like NBA 2K, that's sort of like the game I play most. You know, that's a game that I'm confident in my abilities on that game, especially like playing in an online, like my career game mode and things like that. But like in the last couple of years, these new Call of Duties that have come out, I am awful. I just cannot figure it out. Like I've had kids like call me Unk to my face, and I'm like, no, I'm not. And then I play video games, and I'm getting just embarrassed by a 13-year-old who's being told by their mom to go to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning. And it's truly demoralizing.
It's humbling.
And so I need a little bit of this in my life. And I feel like game developers are starting to recognize that, like, that first generation of kids that, like, because we are, right? People, you know, I would say ages like 35 to 25, like, you know, in that 10-year gap, those of us in that age range, we were the first generation of kids to like grow up with video games, like grow up and be able to like experience multiplayer lobbies in their teens, right? Like, I mean, our parents, like my dad played video games growing up, but it was never like an online sort of, you know, it was the Nintendo 64 and the Sega Genesis and things like that. Like we grew up with Xbox and PlayStation and the first real online multiplayer gaming lobbies ever. And now we are the old people playing video games to a certain extent. Like it's maddening to me how bad I can be at those things. I remember playing Fortnite a lot in college, and then I graduated and I moved in with my wife, and I stopped playing Fortnite for like 6 months. And then I tried to play again after that 6 months was up, and I was awful. like 15 games. I never registered a single kill. Like, what am I spending my time doing here? I need a little bit of this nostalgia. I don't even know if I'll be any good at it, but at least I'll have a strong understanding of the game, because Call of Duty Black Ops was like the first Call of Duty that I was ever allowed to play as a kid. My parents were the same way. They were very strict about certain things, especially shooters, like Red Dead Redemption, Grand Theft. Grand Theft Auto 5 is to this day the only Grand Theft Auto that I have ever played.
Same here. I downloaded that the second I left the house.
Yeah, I got it in college.
I left the house. Yeah,
literally, I downloaded it in college, and that's the first time I had ever played a Grand Theft Auto game.
Speaking of games coming back in 2026, hello.
Yeah, November, right? That's the latest that we're hearing now, is that GTA 6 is going to be out in November. It only took a decade. That's fine. I went from 18 to almost 30 before the game came out again, but as long as it's solid, I don't know. It's just one of those things that, like, this was a game. I was 13, like, I was 8th grade going into my freshman year of high school, and I spent so many hours in front of a TV playing the original Call of Duty Black Ops. And I know so many people that have incredibly strong feelings about Call of Duty Black Ops 2. This is going to be a little bit exciting to me. Like, I still have old video game consoles so that I can go back and play these games sometimes. It's going to be fun for me to be able to do that, to play Call of Duty Black Ops. I don't know if you're familiar with, like, the Assassin's Creed games. They're some of my favorites. Big open world concepts set in these, like, major historical eras throughout world history. They're getting ready to do basically a remastered version of the 4th Assassin's Creed game, which was Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, which is centered around the Caribbean in North America prior to World War II. So pirates, Blackbeard and all these, major historical figures of that era and that generation. It's one of my favorite video games of all time. That's getting ready to get released at the same time. So, yeah, I mean, this is just sort of a nostalgic summer for those of us who are among that, like, first generation of kids who grew up playing these major video game titles and playing online games that maybe our parents didn't get to experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And nostalgic for me as well. Even though this game comes out every year, I haven't downloaded 2K since probably the pandemic, and I downloaded it a few weeks ago. The NBA playoffs just had me in such a chokehold. I wanted to get on and run some online matches. I'm doing okay. I think I'm a little bit above 500 online right now, but I found that the only way to create offense is kind of to just run in circles.
Yeah.
There's no really way to set up plays. A lot of guys, screen spam on the game, or just kind of run back and forth, and you're left with kind of getting cooked if you're willing to man up and play man-to-man defense on the game. So I'd be interested to see how I compare to a player like you in 2K. We'll have to set that up sometime.
Hey, we can do that. NBA 2K is the primary online game that I play anymore. I am pretty good at that one. In fact, since MLB The Show came out, I haven't had a chance to play it very much. So I just played it earlier this week with my younger brother and one of his buddies. And I was a little bit jarred by the numbers. I have this one particular build. It's a shooting guard. It's like 75% from the floor, and I shoot 74% from the three-point line.
Dang.
In like 400 rec games, which is like their version of like 5-on-5, right? 4 quarters, 5 minutes. It's completely my career-based. Then I try to play something else online. For example, like MLB The Show. That game is garbage, dude. It's so bad.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
Firstly, just this. I'm going to get on my soapbox here for a minute because, listen, the gameplay itself is not horrible. There are serious issues. Like, there's this ongoing problem where the guy will, like, lag out in the middle of stealing second, and all of a sudden the ball's still in the catcher's mitt, and then it's out of his glove. The runner slides into second base, seemingly safe by half a foot, and then he's just out. Then there's just one out, there's nobody on. You're like, okay. The number of times that I have thrown for a called third strike and it just doesn't count. And not to mention, the worst part of these servers, mind you, it's $1 billion game. Millions of online players worldwide.
Yeah.
I would venture to say over half of the online Diamond Dynasty games that I play do not finish. You end up in this this freeze off with the opposing team where whoever the lobby leader is for either team, one of them has to quit in order for the game to continue. I was playing a game with a couple of my friends, and we were in the 9th inning, pitching a no-no with the new Jacob Mizorowski card that's out, the 96 that's been boosted to a 99, which I want to talk about Jacob Mizorowski eventually in this show. 8 2/3 scoreless. I'm pitching the bottom of the 9th inning against Byron Buxton. No on the line. Game freezes mid-pitch. I'm like, awesome. So we quit, load back in, go to the next game. We are in the bottom of the 5th inning. It happens again. Quit, go back in. We didn't even get into the 4th inning, and it freezes the 3rd. I'm like, really? This is a $1 billion game, and now 3 consecutive times that we have loaded into a lobby, we cannot complete a 9-inning baseball game. It's so awful.
And Diamond Dynasty is the coolest out of any online sports gaming feature. In my opinion, it was the coolest feature. I loved just grinding Diamond Dynasty. It was a good time. And now, if you do finish the game, because you're right, that's a big problem. Either guys are, you're throwing a circle change that falls out of the zone and a guy's still perfecting it and hitting it out of the ballpark, or you're hitting and someone's just spamming a Mizorowski or a Chase Burns or someone else that throws 102 up and in, and you can't reach that, and you just sit there swinging and missing at all these high fastballs all game. It's a broken game, and yeah, it's disappointing because that used to be so much fun.
I used to really, really enjoy it, and it sucks for me because my brother and his buddies are really deep into MLB The Show right now, and I just can't do it. I simply can't do it. I just end up playing 2K by myself while they play MLB The Show because I am just getting torched, man. It's an unplayable video game right now. Yeah. It really is. 913-586-7965 is our number. I'll get away from the video games here for a bit because I feel like I have maybe alienated several people along the way. Somebody told me to respect my elders earlier.
That's great.
I was the first in my neighborhood with an electric football game. The players just vibrated in circles, and it sounded like a dying lawnmower. Respect your elders, rookies. It's honestly kind of sick. Somebody says, I'm 42. I was a part of the first generation of professional esports. I feel you. I hop into Counter-Strike 2 matches from time to time, and some 15-year-old clowns on me. I think after 26, everyone starts to suck at those games. Yeah, man. It's hurtful. It really does start to tear your heart out a little bit. Logan Weber alongside Nathan Williams. You're listening to After Hours here on your home for Kansas City Sports, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City Sports, 96.5, The Fan.
Hey DQ fans, nothing could make Father's Day more memorable than a DQ cake. Treat Dad, aka Pops, Poppy, or Papa, to one of our delicious fudge and crunch cakes. Or get a cake in one of our other Blizzard treat flavors like Oreo cookie. Customize your DQ cake with a message that celebrates the big guy and all the wonderful things he does. Trust us, it's a lot more fun than a pair of socks or another wacky tie. Only at participating DQ locations. Happy tastes good.
Steak is for dads. All types of dads. Grill dads, cast iron dads, charcoal dads, all united by their love of steak. So shop in store at Omaha Steaks at the Fountains in Overland Park for the perfect Father's Day gift. From perfectly aged, oh so tender USDA certified tender steaks to hand-selected gift packages, Omaha Steaks makes it easy to give your dad what he really wants. A license to grill with a Father's Day gift from Omaha Steaks at the Fountains, or go to omahasteaks.com today for fast delivery.
If you're looking for new work, Gann Asphalt and Concrete is seeking motivated candidates to add value to their business and, of course, their clients. They give top pay in the industry. They have health, vision, dental insurance, paid time off, and, of course, advancement opportunities. Work with a great local company who wants to see you grow with them. Go to GannAsphalt.com and find out how this new career opportunity can work out for you. Gann Asphalt, one contractor, all things parking lot.
Honey, did you invite the minions over?
Hello. Well, you know how we talked about getting Wi-Fi from Xfinity?
Yeah.
I ordered it this morning, was online in minutes, then they showed up.
So they just came over to use the Wi-Fi?
They even brought their own devices and spell book.
You didn't give them the new Wi-Fi password, right?
No.
That's good.
I gave them our old one. Because Xfinity lets us keep the same network name and password so devices connect instantly.
What do they want Wi-Fi for anyways?
Better not to know. Plausible deniability.
Get streaming or scheming instantly with same-day Wi-Fi from Xfinity. Plus, lock in one price for the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi for 5 years. Guaranteed. And see Minions and Monsters only in theaters. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
For 250 years, America has been more than a place. It's been a promise, a story of courage, hope, and dreams. And through it all, local TV and radio broadcasters have been there, telling the story of America, bringing truth to light. Broadcasters tell the story of who we are and who we aspire to be. We are America's storytellers. We are broadcasters. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Onyx, I keep having stomach issues. Please make me a doctor's appointment.
Okay, are you suffering from diarrhea, bloating, gas, or oily stools? If so, you may want to ask your doctor if it could actually be a problem with your pancreas, called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI.
My pancreas? How is EPI treated?
A prescription medicine like Creon, pancrelipase, is used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes. Creon is the #1 prescribed treatment for EPI.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you are allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor, and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. You can learn more at 1-800-633-9110.
Before your appointment, visit creoninfo.com. That's CREON info.com.
After hours here on 96.5 The Fan, Logan Weber here with you alongside Nathan Williams, and getting away from the video games topic for a minute, which was very split in the text line.
My gosh.
Some folks that were really enjoying the video game conversation, other folks saying that if you're still playing video games as an older guy, what was the exact quote? If you're still playing video games as an older guy, then you should be ashamed of yourself, because God forbid people enjoy things. Regardless, there was major news out of Kansas City yesterday. Arrowhead Stadium and the folks here in the city got a chance to experience the first of what is set to be several World Cup games. And man, if the folks at Arrowhead yesterday didn't get treated to a historic performance from one Lionel Messi, who at 38 years old just wanted to remind everybody again that he's the best player in the world. A hat trick for Lionel Messi. 3-0. The Argentinians beat Algeria. And I think that's been one of the more exciting things about the World Cup thus far. And we were talking to one of our coworkers in the bullpen prior to the show, Nathan. You know, there haven't been, outside of probably the Germany-Curacao game, there haven't been many blowouts so far in World Cup play, which has maybe been the most entertaining part of this entire storyline so far. You've seen teams really compete with one another, right? I mean, the U.S. took it to Paraguay over the weekend, but you saw Switzerland really struggle with Qatar. You saw Brazil and Morocco end up in a 1-0 tie. Even yesterday, you saw Senegal kind of stay with France for a little bit before ultimately falling 3-1 because of a pair of goals from Mbappe. It's been
Cape
fun.
Verde stayed with Spain.
Yeah.
Congo tied Portugal today. You're right. Sorry, I was just expounding on your point. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's been fun. It's not as if there's been any major upsets so far in this World Cup. That's not what we're saying. It's that we're not seeing any of these 8-0, 10-1, big, gigantic differential games that we have in World Cups past. And that's kind of been the most exciting part, is these nations that are not typically in these moments really pushing with some of the more major countries in the world. I mean, Senegal staying with France, who is the odds-on favorite to win the World Cup and only losing by 2 goals. I find that kind of entertaining. And not to mention, my favorite part of this entire thing of the World Cup, and I'll admit, I'm not the biggest soccer fan on planet Earth, right? My favorite part has been seeing these people internationally from around the world coming to the United States and interacting with the average everyday American citizen. Because let's face it, whether you agree or disagree, the United States is pretty polarizing worldwide right now and has been for the better part of a decade. And to see these people coming to the United States with all of the media circus that has been ongoing and watching how these people from around the world have interacted with your average American. To watch, like Freddie, is that his name, right? The German who's come over with a couple of his buddies, and watching how they're reacting to like going to a Buc-ee's for the first time. And I read a tweet from a man from Japan who was in the United States for the World Cup, who went to a Mexican restaurant and experienced the concept of free chips and salsa for the first time, and wrote this as if Shakespeare were still with us. That's been my favorite part.
Wait, the fact they had to tip didn't anger them? They still had fun at an American restaurant? Hold on a second.
They sure did, man. And,
wow.
And they were, this guy, it's one of the best tweets I've ever read. This man was baffled by the idea of just complimentary chips and salsa. They're like, it's free with the table. And the guy's like, I ate 4 baskets. I didn't have enough room for my food. And that was the ultimate, like, welcome to America, my guy.
Yeah.
That's how we operate here.
Freddie's supposed to be in Kansas City in about 2 weeks. Have Mac, Drew, or Rob contacted Freddie? Do we know?
I don't know. I saw the Royals, reached out and offered him tickets to a Royals game.
Yeah.
But
we got to get in touch with Freddie here at the station. We got to get this guy in studio.
Yeah, let's do it, man. I think it's a great idea. That's been the best part of it for me, is just watching all of these people from around the world come to the United States with all of the stuff that has been going on and all this publicity, negatively, positively, what have you, that has really polarized the United States on the world stage. Just come and enjoy being around the people. Watching Algeria become the team for Lawrence, Kansas, completely seemingly randomly, and watching how these people from Algeria have been welcomed by the folks of Lawrence, Kansas, and how that developed a relationship so strong, so quickly. That's been the best part for me. The soccer is absolutely an important part of it, but I think the ability for the average American citizen to have an opportunity to interact with these people internationally and say that, some of the things that you're seeing of America does not represent who all Americans are, who even the majority of Americans are. That's been really, really fun to watch.
Yeah, we're shown one way in the press. It's just the way that it is. There's a perception about us around the globe. Like it, disagree with it, whatever. It is what it is. You're right about the Algeria story. The people at FanFest. I traveled over the weekend, and there were so many Argentinian people, Leo Messi jerseys pouring into Kansas City, talking with them. You've seen the exuberance the Netherlands fans bring over here. It's a great time, and you're right. It leads to connections that maybe bridge differences that we thought existed. It's a beautiful time. Not to mention the World Cup is just always exciting. Even if you're not a soccer fan, I'm an average soccer fan here. I could tell you some players on some teams I know who does well in the different leagues, but I'm not watching every weekend. But of course, I'm locked in for the World Cup every 4 years. It's really cool that it's happening in our city.
And I'm not at all a soccer fan. Like, I've been to a couple of sporting games in my life. I've been to a couple of current games in my life, but that is really just the extent of my soccer fandom, I would say. But Saturday night, my wife and I were down in Springfield visiting some old friends, and I sat in a bar and I watched the majority of the second half between in that Brazil-Morocco game on the edge of my seat. There's just some, I don't know what it is. I think it's got to just be because you're wearing the jersey, right? It's got to be a similar sort of call to arms that the Olympics gives you every 4 years of these countries wearing their nation's jersey on the front. And that's the most important part, right? It's not their professional team. It's not about the name on the back. It's about the name on the front. That just adds a little bit extra oomph. And even more so this go around, like you said, because it's taking place right here in the United States. It's taking place in our native country, and being able to put our best foot forward with these people coming in from around the world to experience soccer, the world's most popular sport, on its biggest stage, and it's occurring right here. It's occurring 25 minutes from our station right down I-70.
Yeah, and you and Bink are going to be live during the next USA game. Is that right?
That's right. We're going to be at the Peanut Friday in Belton during what's going to be probably most of the first half, if not bleeding a little bit into the second half. We're going to be hosting Cody and Gold on Friday from the Peanut in Belton, so that's going to be a lot of fun to kind of track as we're going along in the show as well. 913-586-7965 is our number. We've got more coming up. I want to talk about Jacob Mizorowski, just a kid from the Kansas City Metro who is lighting Major League Baseball on fire right now. We are seemingly coming to the end of the Brandon Sorsby saga, and I want to congratulate people on social media because, once again, we show that a big enough outcry, if our voices are heard enough, you can actually change people's minds. You can change the discourse surrounding a situation. And I want to flame a dude from ESPN who said some outlandish things about the NBA. Logan Weber alongside Nathan Williams. You're listening to After Hours, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Having unexpected car trouble or just in a car accident? You need Jay's Southland Tow Service. They have 20 years of experience and service the KC metro area. They specialize in light, medium, and heavy duty, also in commercial transport and construction equipment. Keep this number handy, 816-779-4TOW, or go to southlandtow.com. Use the tow service trusted by most local police departments, Jay's Southland Tow. There's nothing they can't do, so be in the know and use Jay's Southland Tow.
At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. If you have breast, head and neck, or brain cancer, proton therapy may be a better treatment than conventional radiation. Don't wait. Get your second opinion at Kansas City Proton Institute. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced proton therapy team. Learn more at kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
Hey, it's Rex here with Rex Buys KC. I get it. Selling your house can sometimes feel overwhelming or scary, right? I've seen it too many times. A homeowner thought they had a deal, only to have the buyer back out at the last minute. That's not how we do business at Rex Buys KC. I'm local, I know Kansas City, and I make sure every deal actually closes like it's supposed to. No hidden fees, no showings, no last-minute surprises, just a fair cash offer and a process you can count on. We buy homes in any condition and judgment-free. So whether your house needs repairs or you just want a fast, hassle-free sale, we can make it happen. If you want certainty, transparency, and someone local who actually delivers, call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time. 816-330-6000 or rexbuyskc.com.
Baseball season is in full swing, and that means the summer heat is coming. The guys at Climate Control have been serving KC homeowners for over 35 years, and they know how to get your cooling system ready to handle our scorching hot summer weather. Stay cool and comfortable this summer. Call Climate Control today at 816-265-2830. 816-265-2830 for all your cooling, heating, and plumbing needs. Don't wait. Visit ClimateControlKC.com today. Climate Control Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As a diamond sourcing expert, I'll tell you just how differently we source our diamonds so your engagement ring can be the most beautiful. We work directly with our diamond partners who reserve the best stones just for us. We handpick and inspect each diamond, then negotiate the best price. At Shane Company, we believe this is the only way to properly buy a diamond, because a friend goes the extra mile to make sure you get your dream diamond at your dream price. Visit us in store or at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
For adults with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms, every choice matters. Tremfya offers self-injection or intravenous infusion from the start. Tremfya is administered as injections under the skin or infusions through a vein every 4 weeks, followed by injections under the skin every 4 or 8 weeks. If your doctor decides that you can self-inject Tremfya, proper training is required. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions, increased risk of infections or lower ability to fight them, and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or need a vaccine. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
This is one of my favorite texts that we've gotten so far tonight, Nathan. We were talking about Freddie, the German soccer fan who's come to the United States and has just exploded on social media. And I mentioned that, like we were talking about, he's going to be in Kansas City in a couple of weeks, right around the 4th of July. And the Royals reached out to him and offered, him some tickets and to come to Kauffman Stadium. This guy in the text line goes, "Don't punish the guy with Royals tickets."
Yeah. The guy's doing great things for our publicity, for the PR of the country of the United States of America. Why would we send him to watch that baseball team? If, by the way, he could get in, because apparently it's going to take half of a day to get transportation out to the Truman Sports Complex for the next month. That's a whole different story.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like that weekend, the Royals, they play the Rays. In the lead up to, I think July 3rd there's a World Cup game in Kansas City on July 3rd. So the day before they play the Rays, and then the day after they've got a series at home against the Philadelphia Phillies, who are one of those teams people have pointed out, fired their manager and they've seemingly figured things out. The Red Sox, there was an immediate high of it, and then the lull kind of set in and they reverted right back to their same struggles they had before they fired Alex Rios.
Well, yeah, because the Phillies have a good roster and the Red Sox don't.
Yeah.
I mean,
for the most part, yeah. I mean, they got much stronger pitching, no question about
Sure.
it, with Zach Wheeler and Christopher Sanchez, who's had a phenomenal year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't been to a Royals game yet this year. My mother-in-law actually went to a Royals game over the weekend. She went to the Astros game, the 10-8 game.
The Astros game, yeah.
Yeah. The one where history was made against the Royals when Yordan Alvarez hit 2 home runs in the first inning, including a grand slam, tied David Ortiz for the most RBIs in a single inning with 2 home runs in Major League Baseball history. So that's fun. That's what she walked away from it with. She's like, it was a good game, with 10-8 or whatever the finish was. And she's like, that guy for the Astros hit 2 home runs in the first inning. And like, yeah, that's always a good sign when you go to cheer on your hometown team and the other team is the story. If that's not the tale of the Royal season, I don't know what is. Hell, my daughter has a T-ball game on the 3rd. That would be more entertaining.
You're not wrong.
Oh.
You're not wrong, 913.
Send him to the new KC softball team or the T-Bones or the Monarchs. Literally anything but the Royals.
Send Freddie out to Mid-America West. They sell tall boys out there at U Sports now. Freddie can have himself a good old time.
Oh, that's awesome. 913-586-7965. We've got more coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, including Jordan Foote. He joined us in the 6 o'clock hour to talk a little Chiefs. We'll replay that one for you, as well as getting into a wild comment from an analyst for ESPN. And it seems like the Brennan Sorsby saga is drawing to a close. Stick around here on After Hours. Logan Weber alongside Nathan Williams, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? During the Xfinity Summer Savings Event, now through June 22nd, new customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi, just $50 a month for 5 years. And get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, add one line of Xfinity Mobile Select and you can save an average of $60 a month over Verizon and AT&T. You can even try it free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings Event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Savings based on 1 gig internet and 1 mobile select line compared to similar Verizon and AT&T plans over 5 years. After 12 months, regular rates apply to mobile select. Xfinity internet required. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable.
Hey DQ fans, nothing could make Father's Day more memorable than a DQ cake. Treat Dad, aka Pops, Poppy, or Papa, to one of our delicious fudge and crunch cakes. Or get a cake in one of our other Blizzard treat flavors like Oreo cookie. Customize your DQ cake with a message that celebrates the big guy and all the wonderful things he does. Trust us, it's a lot more fun than a pair of socks or another wacky tie. Only at participating DQ locations. Happy tastes good.
A large bank that stays tied to the community it serves? That's bold. For over 90 years, Security Bank has served the greater Kansas City area. That's longer than most of the barbecue joints around. What's our secret sauce? It's our commitment to local lending and local decisions, championing what makes Kansas City great, because Kansas City is full of champions. Speaking of which, we've been recognized as the strongest large bank in KC. Security Bank of Kansas City, member FDIC.
Meet Keith. He runs a 30-acre ranch. 8 years ago, his knees started giving out.
Climbing a ladder was almost impossible. If I could get down, I have to have something next to me to get up.
Keith's wife had a knee replacement. The recovery was hard and the results, not great. Keith wanted another way.
I won't go under the knife because I believe the body can do whatever it needs to do to heal itself.
Surgery wasn't the answer. QC Kinetics was. They're regenerative treatments. No surgery, no long recovery.
After the first one, the inflammation dropped 90%. Today, my knees are just amazing. I could not do what I've done if I had not gotten treatments to QC Kinetics. I just pray that my physical model continues to go and help other people.
Maybe that's you. Tired of dealing with the joint pain? Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation today.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
High energy bills? Can't get cool enough? Your HVAC system could be the reason. Save up to $2,000 on a new HVAC system with Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. Smart homeowners know an old air conditioner can cost you more every month. Don't let it drain your wallet. Upgrade to efficient, reliable comfort with payment options that fit your budget. Put your trust in over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 5-star reviews. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
Join 96.5 The Fan and Circus Sports for Parlays and Pints with Mac Morey and Drew Nixon at Beckett's in the Crossroads this Saturday, June 20th from 3 to 5. Enjoy prices, cold drinks, and sports talk. Circus Sports. Sports betting the way it should be. Visit circusports.com.
If your engine takes longer to start in the morning than you do, don't worry. Just take it to Telly. Schedule your service at tellytire.com.
Range Bait with Dusty Likens is now up on the Fan's social channels. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
Kind of crazy to think about the fact that it's been a year and a half now since I started working here at Odyssey, Kansas City, 96.5 The Fan. And just under a year and a half ago, in March of last year, my wife and I bought our first home in Grain Valley, Missouri. I am from this area. My wife is as well. We're high school sweethearts. We grew up on the north side of the metro, so moving to, I guess, the southeast side of the metro is an area that we were not overly familiar with when we moved down here. But I have grown used to it. And in living in Grain Valley for the last year plus, one name that I have learned a lot about, even before this past season, a kid by the name of Jacob Mizorowski. Jacob Mizorowski grew up in Grain Valley. You talk to anybody from that area who was familiar with him and with Grain Valley's high school baseball, they were confident that they were going to win the state title in 2020, which was his senior year, before COVID happened and it canceled the rest of their season and there was no state Final Four. And so Jacob Mizorowski had to take kind of a roundabout way to get into professional baseball. He was originally committed out of high school to go pitch. I believe it was at LSU, I want to say. He was committed to Oklahoma State. And then he decided to go pitch at Crowder. He then committed to Louisiana, to LSU, stayed at Crowder, and he got picked up in the second round of the MLB draft in 2022. And since then, he has lit Major League Baseball on fire. And I think it's fair to say Jacob Mizorowski is the best pitcher in the MLB right now. I mean, as good as Skeens has been and has always been, as good as Shohei Ohtani has been and some of these other marquee names across Major League Baseball, I'm not trying to discount the year that some of these guys are having. Christopher Sanchez with the Phillies has been extraordinary, and Cam Schlittler of the Yankees. But Jacob Mizorowski is on another planet currently. I saw a stat the other day, like the 50 fastest thrown baseballs in Major League Baseball this year. He's got like 40 of them. A 1.34 ERA, which is the best in Major League Baseball. He's got 131 strikeouts in 87 innings. He's got the same Ks per nine as Dylan Cease right now. Second best Ks per nine in Major League Baseball is Paul Skeens at 10.9. He's got 30 more strikeouts than the next guy, 15 more strikeouts than the guy in second place right now, and that's Christopher Sanchez. Just the kid from the Kansas City metro area who is the best pitcher in baseball right now, in Jacob Mizorowski.
Yeah, and people were upset last summer when he was added to the All-Star roster after, 20 innings of pitching?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, sure, I guess maybe we didn't know exactly what he would be. Man, this game the other day against the, who are they playing? The Yankees, I think? No. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe the Phillies. It was some big team. And it was
the Philadelphia Phillies.
There's a passing tweet out there. I'm trying to look it up. I believe there was an inning in which he threw something like 13 or 14 pitches over 102 miles an hour. It is a game in which he set the record for the fastest pitch ever by a starting pitcher of 104.5 miles per hour. The guy is doing insane things on the mound right now. A complete game shutout with under 100 pitches, yet he still struck out 15. You understand how difficult that is to do? Strikeouts go up, so do your pitch count. How many times have we seen guys where it's like, hey, they're pitching really well, but it's almost too well. Every at-bat is taking 4 or 5 pitches, and it's the guys who can work to their defense, put the ball in play, let their defense make plays. Those are the guys who can go the distance. 15 strikeouts and a complete game with only 95 pitches is bonkers. And I think he faced the minimum in this game, if I'm not wrong. It was 1 hit, no walks. I think that hit was doubled off, or otherwise was recorded an out on the base path. So very, very close to a perfect game. I mean, we could be talking about one of the, I'm not saying it's up there with like Kerry Wood's performance or anything. It's sneakily like one of the better performances ever by a starting pitcher. I mean, he was that good against the Phillies last weekend.
Yeah, I mean, 15 strikeouts on 95 pitches. I mean, to pitch a Maddox in today's day and age of Major League Baseball is a remarkable feat in and of itself, because complete games are just such a rarity in Major League Baseball today. And then to do it in under 95 pitches with 15 strikeouts.
See, I didn't know that had a term, so that's what the Maddox is.
Yeah, to do it in under 100 pitches. To not reach triple digits in your pitch count in a complete game. That's what's referred to as a Maddox, because Greg Maddox did it better than anybody ever has in the history of baseball.
15 as well.
15 punch-outs is utterly ridiculous.
15 strikeout Maddox is crazy.
He threw 95 pitches, 74 for strikes. 74 for strikes. And he's the hardest thrower in Major League Baseball? Gross, dude. Utterly ridiculous, man. Yeah, he faced the minimum in that game. Dude, please, everybody, take a moment and look at Jacob Mizorowski's Baseball Savant page right now, because it is disgusting. Pitching run value, fastball run value, breaking ball run value, off-speed run value. Everything he's doing outside of his chase percentage and his ground ball percentage is over 77%, which is considered good to great. His xERA, his X batting average, fastball velo, his whiff percentage, his K percentage, barrel percentage, extension, all of those things are at a 98 or higher. Mind you, it goes to 100 on his Baseball Savant page. And then you look at his velocity on his pitches. His average velocity on his fastball is 100.1 miles an hour. That's disturbing in and of itself, to average 100 miles an hour. Any guesses as to how fast his changeup is? 92 and a half.
Jeez, I was going to say 88. My goodness.
92 mile an hour changeup. His slider touches 93. His average slider is 93.1 miles per hour. His curveball is 87 miles an hour. His cutter hits 96, 97. Yuck, dude. It's utterly ridiculous what that man is doing right now in Major League Baseball. And seemingly, and that's maybe the biggest question with Jacob Mizorowski this year, is because he was so impressive early on in his career before the All-Star break last year. And then as the season wore on, you could see it wear him down a little bit. Can he continue that after the All-Star break and as the season progresses? But I mean, he had a .23 ERA in the month of May in 16 innings across.
That is insane.
I mean, across 6 starts, 38 and a third innings, he had a .23 ERA. He struck out 57 batters. He walked 6 and gave up 14 hits. So far in June, through 2 starts, no runs given up. 16 innings, no earned runs, 23 strikeouts. He has given up 1 earned run in his last 55 innings of baseball, with 9 walks and 80 strikeouts. Okay.
Who on the Cardinals knocked in a run against this guy? Because otherwise, yeah, he hasn't been touched since the month of April.
Yeah, dude. Like, he hasn't. I mean, he's given up 1 run since April 25th.
It's Father's Day. I mean, it's silly.
Oh my God, that's insane, man. That is utterly ridiculous.
Ivan Herrera grounded out to force in a run. So it's not even like Jacob Mizorowski got taken bridge by somebody. It was a get him on, get him over, get him in situation to account for the 1 run that's been scored against him in 2 calendar months.
Yeah, he has 1 game this entire season with less than 7 strikeouts. He has not had a game with less than 8 strikeouts since April 14th. Every game he's pitched since April 14th, 9 Ks, 9 Ks, 8, 11, 10, 8, 12, 8, 8, and then, of course, last Friday against the Phillies, 15 strikeouts on 95 pitches. He had a 3.31 ERA at the end of April. He's got a 1.34 ERA now. Nobody can touch him. And he's 24.
I mean, when you're sitting 103 and your slider's 93, I'm not really sure what. But how are you hitting that? Not you, Logan. How's like
anybody?
Prime Barry Bonds hitting that? Can't be very well.
I'm extremely excited to see how the rest of the season goes for him. He is just an insane player right now. 913-586-7965 is our number. We had Jordan Foote on with us earlier in the show. When we come back, we'll replay that interview for you. We talked Chiefs. We talked Rashee Rice, the offseason as we head into the rest of the offseason with training camp as we get closer and closer to the 26-27 calendar year for the Kansas City Chiefs. So stay with us here on After Hours. Logan Weber alongside my producer tonight, Nathan Williams, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
It's the Lawman. If you've been injured in a motor vehicle accident, call me ASAP, 816-816-9111. I recovered millions for my clients. Take it away.
The Lawman gets results. Jump the law, call the Lawman. Let the fight begin. The Lawman gets results. Jump the law.
Come see me get roasted August 1st at 7 p.m. at the Uptown Theater. Go to junglelaw.com for details.
The choice of a lawyer shouldn't be based on advertisements.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account.
When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything.
Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
You love your land. During Kubota Orange Days, you'll love all the great deals. With versatile compact tractors, professional-grade mowers, and durable utility vehicles, Kubota equipment can help you turn dream projects into reality. Kubota Orange Days is here, and so are the best deals of the year. Now through June 30th, get select compact tractors with 0% financing available or save up to $5,500. Sale ends soon. Go to KubotaOrangeDays.com or stop by your local dealer for more information.
The world is coming to Kansas City. Is your parking lot ready? Over at Gann Asphalt and Concrete, they want to make sure that your business is inviting, that it's safe, and that, of course, your project is cost-effective because they want to make sure that you're ready and that your business is ready before the world comes here. That's all possible over at Gann, who can handle any type of project your parking lot would need. That's because they're one contractor, all things parking lot. Check out their projects at GannAsphalt.com or give them a call at 816-688-3512.
Getting a little older doesn't have to mean, well, getting older. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're feeling low energy, can't sleep, can't lose weight, are struggling with brain fog, or your sex drive is off, it's time to change it up. At Heartland Men's Health, our advanced medical strategies featuring TRT, GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more treat low T and other hormonal issues to help you shed pounds, have more energy, enhance your body composition, improve sleep, increase your sex drive, and so much more, getting you back in the game again. So don't be older. Be stronger in the gym. Be sharper at work. Be better in the bedroom and be more confident in every part of your life. So call us today and find out how our advanced treatment strategies could change the game for you. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on one of our advanced treatment plans on the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Physical therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
If you've been thinking about refinancing, don't let the cost of an appraisal hold you back. This is James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. For a limited time, Golden Oak is offering a credit of up to $600 towards your appraisal at closing. Call today for a free mortgage checkup and see if you could lower your payment, pay off high-interest credit card debt, or put your home's equity to work. But apply by July 31st.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
NMLS 114937.
Some days, self-care starts with Nature-Made gummy vitamins, a deep breath, and a little encouragement.
Mom, I'm really nervous.
Me too, honey, but we've got this. Repeat after me. I'm gonna have a good day.
I'm going to have a good day.
I choose joy no matter what comes my way.
I bring joy wherever I go.
Quality gummy vitamins from Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
The countdown to the World Soccer Championship is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. Visit bluekc.com/benefit of blue for more information. You can listen to Burns on Deck Show starting 1 hour before first pitch for all 162 games this season on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app. Get ready for the game with Touch 'Em All and listen for your chance to win Royals tickets during the pitch clock. We are in your car, we are on your phone, and we are free for every Royals game this season. Tune in to Burns on Deck Show 1 hour before first pitch, right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
I mean, it's the middle of the summer, so a majority of what our talking points are going to be centered around baseball. Of course, with the World Cup going on right now, we're going to talk a lot of soccer at the same time. But earlier in the show, we had a chance to visit with Jordan Foote. He is a writer and reporter. He's covered the Chiefs for many, many years, and asked him about the offseason thus far and began the conversation talking about Rashee Rice, who yesterday was released from jail after his 30-day sentence for violating his probation, and asked him what the latest is that he's hearing about Rashee Rice and his situation and what we should expect from him as a contributing piece to the Chiefs coming up this year.
It still sounds very weird to even fathom that. It's almost like a Mad Lib kind of describing what's been going on with Rashee Rice and the Kansas City Chiefs. But the silver lining, I guess you could say, is the knee injury. He was allowed to receive treatment at a local hospital in Dallas for that knee. It was a relatively minor surgery to clean up like some loose bodies that were inflaming it. So if everything does go as planned, and we're tracking the timeline of the week before he went into jail to serve out that 30-day sentence, the 2-month point would be putting him on track to be available, be ready for Chiefs training camp. This year, it seems to be starting a little bit later. The 29th is the latest Chiefs training camp date that I can really remember as far as a kickoff point. So he has that working in his favor. He had the treatment while he was in jail working in his favor. So it definitely a bad situation. Don't get me wrong. But judging by the video, this is another part of the ad lib of him breaking into a jog as he's exiting the facility and getting into an SUV. He's moving okay, but that is definitely a far cry from being able to run, cut, jump in a classic Andy Reid training camp.
And, of course, the Chiefs just finished up with OTAs over the last couple of weeks, and we saw a few different things. One of those, one of the bigger storylines, is just how involved in the voluntary workouts that Patrick Mahomes was. I think that was a very encouraging sign. I think it leads many, including myself, to believe that the expectation should be Patrick Mahomes is behind center for the Kansas City Chiefs week 1. Do you share that sentiment, or is there something that you're seeing or hearing that may still need to be addressed as we get closer to the start of the season?
No, I think it's really more of the same. And if Patrick Mahomes is continuing along the path that he's shown so far in this rehab process, and you track it all the way back to, I think it was like December 14th or 15th that he sustained the ACL and LCL injury. You have more than enough time, and it's kind of been an interesting thing to see how it's been labeled, I guess you could say, online of, oh, he heals faster than anybody, and he's attacking it 1,000%, and he's superhuman and all that. That is true. Don't get me wrong. He does come back from injuries quick. He is superhuman. Insane in the best of ways as an athlete, but there's also enough time for him to come back. And if this was me or you, a random, let's say, average player, they'd go out there and say the same thing. Okay, well, this amount of time, you get your 8-9 months, and you hope that you're tracking for week 1. And I do believe that the quickness they acted with to get that surgery done the day after or 2 days after, as opposed to some athletes, and it may have been Malik Neighbors, where there was some swelling, and him and the Giants kind of waited a little bit for that to come down. That turned into a few weeks. now he could be starting on the PUP list and has had some complications. Micah Parsons has been a little bit iffy in his recovery, so Mahomes plays a position that allows him to get back out there a little bit quicker maybe. He hasn't had the complications and setbacks, and we always take for granted maybe that isn't always going to be the case. So all has gone well on the recovery front. He has been more involved than I thought he'd be at this point in the offseason, but I believe Andy Reid kind of framed it best where the Chiefs are rewarding him a little bit for the hard work that he's put in, for the progress that he's made, the diligence he's attacked it with, but also they're being very smart and they're not going to overload the face of the franchise, the face of the NFL if they don't have to. So again, all good news, definitely still cautious, but at this point I would be fairly surprised if he wasn't the week 1 starter for the Chiefs.
It seemed like there was a much different atmosphere surrounding OTAs and so far the majority of the offseason and summer workouts for the Chiefs than we had been accustomed to over the last few years. And a lot of the reporting has been that a huge chunk of that can be attributed to the return of Eric Bieniemy, as well as the additions of DeMarco Murray and Chad O'Shea as running backs and wide receivers coach, respectfully. I'm curious, from what you saw and what you heard over the course of the last couple of weeks, is that something that is an accurate depiction of what we saw from OTAs, and how have the players and other coaches on this staff kind of reacted to this newfound sense of urgency and aggressiveness in attacking the 26-27 season?
Listen, Logan, we are about to find out whether it is the chicken or the egg. Is it, oh my goodness, the sky is falling, the chicken little of it all, and it's Andy Reid's fault and the scheme is stale and they need to make all these adjustments? Or was it some bad luck? Was it some injuries? Was it a suspension to Rashee Rice for part of the year? Was it an Xavier Worthy injury? Was it the just objectively bad personnel they had in the run game? Was it those things, or was it, okay, this is really getting to the end of the line in terms of what the Chiefs can they kind of get the juice? Is that squeeze still there with Andy Reid? I think that we're going to find out, because they've made so many changes around Reid on the offensive coaching staff, and Chad O'Shea having a more proven wide receivers coach, with all respect to Connor Embry. I think that this is good for the room. DeMarco Murray coming up to the NFL and having that experience there is going to be huge. The Bieniemy factor, the Chiefs are leaning all the way into it. It seems that the players really do love him. Now, we could check back in a month and a half, and then when training camp is up and running, I'm sure there would be a couple different answers until that's over with. But the Chiefs had a longer offseason than they typically do. They're better rested than they typically are. The players had that mental edge back more than they always do. Reid, the same thing can be said for him. So all of those things, a lot of people will tend to think that they're a little bit overrated, but the mental fatigue of having the run that they just had, the extended dominance they just had, the maybe getting a little bit high on your own supply of, okay, we think that we can get this all done with the players we have. Now, the wide receiver room is still skating on extremely thin ice. There is a world where that does kind of hold the team back at the end of the year, but we are going to find out whether this coaching staff, if it was an Andy Reid thing, if it was a surrounding talent thing, if it was fortune, we will get some answers. And I think that bringing Bieniemy back, bringing in Chad O'Shea, all of that is going to be beneficial to getting those answers.
So far, it appears that way, no doubt about it. And, looking at the news today, for some Chiefs fans, I think that there was some disappointing news that came out. Cam Jordan signing a 1-year deal to go back to the New Orleans Saints. There was never anything overly definitive about this mutual interest that existed between the Chiefs and Cam Jordan and his camp. But, Chris Jones was vocal about it on social media. Cam Jordan himself even took to social media a few times, talking about different things with the Chiefs, excited about Travis Kelce's return, so on and so forth. But with this move ultimately kind of falling on its face for the Chiefs, I'm curious is there any other names out there, and it doesn't necessarily even have to be an edge rusher, that you think the Chiefs could try to attract before the season begins to try to help with some added depth at a key position like they were seemingly, reportedly trying to do by trying to bring Cam Jordan over from New Orleans?
You make a really good point, Logan, about where they could add some depth and competition and maybe even starter level talent. They came into the 2026 NFL draft needing a quality defensive end and a quality wide receiver. And they came out of the 2026 NFL draft. You can make the case they still need a quality defensive end, a quality wide receiver. Now, Ashton Gelati seems very hyped up to potentially command that full-time starting role or full-ish time starting role. R. Mason Thomas, he can probably factor in on some third downs. I'm sure that he's probably a year away from being like the fully materialized starting level player if he turns into one. But they are really, really, really not impressive at the edge group. That was even before the R. Mason Thomas pick. That's not going to completely save the group. So you look at the free agent board, I believe Joey Bosa is still out there. There have been some rumblings that maybe he's going to join up with his brother. Yetur Gross-Matos from the 49ers is out there. The corpse of Von Miller, I just don't think it's going to really help the Chiefs at this point. Names like Kyle Van Noy maybe jump out at you. We can play the Jadeveon Clowney game again. It seems like that's been uttered for the Chiefs for years, but relatively slim pickings, and this is not to say that they should have brought back Mike Dana. It's not to say that they should have re-signed Charles Omenihu. They need upgrades over that, and Cam Jordan was kind of the perfect blend of veteran leadership, scheme fit, potential price point fit. It would be a one-year rental. It is a shame if you're the Chiefs and you were seriously in on that guy that he went back, but there are names out there, and it's not just the edge market. They can keep monitoring the Tyreek Hill thing. That seems to be everyone's flavor of the offseason right now. Stephon Diggs and his situation seems to be legally resolved, and he can objectively still help out as a wide receiver. Keenan Allen, the Chiefs fans probably won't enjoy to hear that name because he's been a thorn in their side for so many years, but if he comes in and is your wide receiver 2.5, 3.5, whatever the case may be, the Chiefs can get help at the positions they need assistance at. The issue is the longer you wait this offseason, the higher risk you run that a player of Cam Jordan's caliber ends up signing back with the team, and then you're left back to the drawing board.
Of course, the big news last week, and we didn't get a chance to talk a week ago with the Chiefs, was the re-signing of L'Jarius Sneed just 2 years after they traded him to Tennessee, and he signed that massive deal with the Titans. What, in your view, is a realistic season for L'Jarius Sneed? What kind of impact can he have? Is it off the field? Is it more off the field in practice, trying to help some of the younger guys in these recent free agent acquisitions get accustomed to the way that Steve Spagnuolo and the Chiefs do things? What do you think he can make the biggest impact on for the Chiefs this year?
I think it's got to just be adding depth. Like if L'Jarius Sneed is playing 17, get really double-digit games in a premium capacity, and this isn't to say he could play, let's say, all 17 regular season games, and if they get to the playoffs, 1, 2, 3 more of those, in a supporting role of 10, 15 snaps, that is a totally different story than L'Jarius Sneed being one of the 2 or 3 primary cornerbacks on the team. That would either mean that he turned back the clock in a major way and the Chiefs look like geniuses, or on the flip side, things went catastrophically wrong at the cornerback spot. They burned through multiple options. I don't put too much, like an overabundance of amount into the OTA minicamp rotations and thoughts, but it seems like the buzz has been Sneed more of a nickel prospect for them right now coming into training camp. I am definitely keeping an eye on where that goes because Kader Kohu coming off the injury, not super proven, but I do think probably has the inside track for it. But then you factor in a Jaden Kennedy that they picked up in the draft. The options there are legitimate. As long as Christian Fulton is on the team, I think the Chiefs have a handful of million reasons to be trying to get him on the field. He looked a lot better at the end of last season. So these things, and maybe to make the soft comparison, Logan, to, let's say, an outfield logjam for MLB teams when they're getting into spring training, and you say, okay, well, they have 6 guys and they only have 3 starting spots, or they have 5 guys that are legitimately worthy of getting reps. Oftentimes you'll see a guy get injured, you'll see one guy get dealt. These things probably have a way of sorting themselves out, but L'Jarius Sneed just couldn't really get going with the Titans. It was a couple of years just filled with injuries, inconsistent play. He's not what he once was. The Chiefs willingly let him go because they thought that knee was in a bad spot. Those things probably don't improve over the course of time, so it's definitely going to sound like I'm down on the signing of L'Jarius Sneed, but on the contrary, it's low risk and maybe a respectable reward. So I think it's good business by Brett Veach. It didn't keep them from signing anybody else. It's kind of a break glass in case of emergency thing. When you're trying to get young, you're trying to transform that cornerback room. They could definitely do worse than getting a guy like him, but the problem comes down to it's got to be realistic in terms of expectation.
Yeah, I completely agree with that sentiment. If nothing else, he can be that guy that can help Mansour Delane and Jaden Kennedy and some of these young corners understand what it means to play the cornerback position or be a defensive back under Steve Spagnuolo and Dave Merritt, and what this Chiefs defense has become all about during the course of this Super Bowl run that they've been on for the last half decade plus. Jordan, appreciate you taking the time tonight, my man. Insightful as always. Hopefully we'll get some chances here as we get further and further into the off season to talk about what we all hope to be a resurgent year for the Chiefs in 26-27.
Yep. Sounds good, brother. Thanks a lot.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
And Doug. There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means sitting front row at a comedy show.
Hey everyone, check out this guy and his bird. What is this, your first date?
Oh, no. We help people customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual together. We're married. Me to a human, him to a bird.
Yeah, the bird looks out of your league anyways.
Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local agent.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Golf's biggest names are chasing one of sports' most coveted titles, and you can trade the entire championship on Kalshi. On Kalshi, you can trade the overall winner, every single round, or even select matchups between 2 different players. Maybe you like young like I do. Cam, with that $100 investment, could see a total of a return of $2,676, or Scotty, the favorite, $100 investment could see a $671 return over on Kalshi. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there is no house, and the probability changes. You can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time only, download the Kalshi app and use code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to get $10 when you trade 10. K-A-L-S-H-I, Kalshi, trade on anything. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see kalshi.com/regulatory.
So, you're ready to propose, huh?
Yeah, man. She's definitely the one.
What are we thinking about the ring? I got my wife's at Hellsberg. I couldn't recommend a better jeweler.
I could use some help with that.
Man, go to Hellsberg. I had no idea how many details you need to consider. Did you know you can get a natural or lab-grown diamond? I didn't. Figure out what she wants. Trust me, they'll make it happen.
Start your story with Hellsberg. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
Almost Andy Reid here. Don't let your garage door drop the ball this summer. Whether it's a noisy opener, broken spring, or time for a summer tune-up, the team at Renner Garage Door is ready to help. Get a free repair or replacement quote today, plus $100 off a new garage door. Renner's America's oldest family-owned garage door company, serving both wholesale and retail markets. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, your home is ready for a championship season. RennerDoor.com, forward and back.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Heartland Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
Odyssey Sports is presented by ZipRecruiter. Find out why 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try it free at ZipRecruiter.com/team.
Wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
I don't know if anybody's been paying attention to some of the soccer discourse on social media the last 24 hours, but the result, this hasn't just been the last 24 hours. This has been for the last, 15 years. There's this ongoing argument among European football fans about Lionel Messi or Ronaldo. Who's the best player in the world, right? And in the lead up to the World Cup, those arguments started to really get loud again. But in the last 24 hours, the Ronaldo apologists, pretty silent right now. Messi goes for a hat trick yesterday against Algeria and Kansas City. And then today, amidst a handful of World Cup games, Austria and Jordan just finished, with Austria winning 3-1. It's the first World Cup win for Austria in 36 years. Earlier today, England beat Croatia 4-2, and Ghana beat Panama 1-0 after a goal in the 5th minute of stoppage time in the second half to get the W. Uzbekistan and Colombia play in just about 15 minutes is when that one's set to get started, that match. But earlier today, Portugal and the Congo ended in a 1-1 draw in which Cristiano Ronaldo scored no goals. You could argue, very much so, looking at the game, he had 2 pristine chances to score in the game and missed them both. Not a lot coming from the Ronaldo fans today. After 38-year-old Messi goes for a hat trick in the first World Cup game for Argentina this year, Ronaldo does nothing. And Ronaldo has now gone 10 consecutive world competition games, whether they be World Cup or World Championships, without scoring a goal in regulation. Do people, how many people actually believe that Ronaldo is a better player than Messi at this point? I can't feel like there are many. Unless you're from Portugal. And now the conversation is, should Portugal consider benching Cristiano Ronaldo? Because he played every minute nearly of today's game in a 1-1 draw.
I don't know the argument for taking Ronaldo over Messi. Those of the older generation might have a few names they want to throw up there, but I can't possibly fathom an argument for anybody over Leo Messi as the greatest of all time when it comes to soccer. It reminds me of, and I never got to watch him play. I was too young when he retired. It feels like the way people describe Wayne Gretzky. Because, of course, there are debates in nearly every other sport about who truly is the GOAT. And you can be firmly on the MJ or LeBron side, but there's a debate to be had. You can be firmly on the Tom Brady or take your pick side, but people like to debate that one. But when it comes to hockey, people are like, yeah, he's the great one. The story about how if you took away all his goals, he would still have the most points scored in NHL history. Just like a bunch of crazy stuff. What I have watched Leo Messi do over the 2 decades of his career, it just transcends, and I'm talking about the eye test, not like EuroLeague championships or things like that. It just so far eclipses every other person I've ever seen play the sport that I can't fathom a conversation. Other guys are great. What we saw a 38-year-old do here in Kansas City last night, though, is remarkable. I mean, barely offsides away from putting up 4 in a World Cup match, pushing 40. I was lucky enough to get to attend the game, the first one he played at Arrowhead as a member of Inter Miami, and he scored once and assisted once that evening, and I walked away floating from that stadium. I couldn't believe what I had just watched. Man, if you were in attendance last night, you were so fortunate. I bet you just can't believe you were a part of that.
Yeah, I mean, the number, it's one thing that, like, what baffles me about this is that there's usually, like, number, right? You talk about, like, Jordan versus LeBron in that argument. It's like, okay, well, Jordan won 6 championships, and Jordan was an electric scorer, and then, LeBron's got all these stats that favor him. There's sort of this split bag. I don't see a single statistic, a single award that favors Cristiano Ronaldo. Like, Lionel Messi has more goals and more assists in less games at the professional level. Lionel Messi has played in 4 more World Cup games than Ronaldo has at this point in his career. Only 4 more games, 27 to 23. Messi has twice as many goals. In what world are we trying to compare Cristiano Ronaldo to Lionel Messi? And the craziest part of it all is Messi is so far ahead of him in all these statistical categories, and he's 3 years younger than Ronaldo. Like, Ronaldo's sitting here competing in the World Cup at age 41. Who's to say Messi's not still competing in the World Cup for Argentina in 4 years at age 42? Something tells me Ronaldo won't be competing for Portugal at 45. It's insane to me. 913-586-7965 is our number. We'll come back and get things wrapped up next here on After Hours, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City sports, 96.5, The Fan.
Water backing up? Drains slowing down? It's only going to get worse. Head off bigger problems with a $79 mainline drain cleaning from Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. Plus, a free video camera inspection to pinpoint exactly where that clog is. We'll clear the problem the right way and get your home back to normal. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 5-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
Honey, did you invite the minions over?
Hello. Well, you know how we talked about getting Wi-Fi from Xfinity?
Yeah.
I ordered it this morning, was online in minutes, then they showed up.
So they just came over to use the Wi-Fi?
They even brought their own devices and spell book.
You didn't give them the new Wi-Fi password, right?
No.
That's good.
I gave them our old one. Because Xfinity lets us keep the same network name and password so devices connect instantly.
What do they want Wi-Fi for anyways?
Better not to know. Plausible deniability.
Get streaming or scheming instantly with same-day Wi-Fi from Xfinity. Plus, lock in one price for the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi for 5 years. Guaranteed. And see Minions and Monsters only in theaters. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
Getting a little older doesn't have to mean, well, getting older. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're feeling low energy, can't sleep, can't lose weight, are struggling with brain fog, or your sex drive is off, it's time to change it up. At Heartland Men's Health, our advanced medical strategies featuring TRT, GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more treat low T and other hormonal issues to help you shed pounds, have more energy, enhance your body composition, improve sleep, increase your sex drive, and so much more, getting you back in the game again. So don't be older. Be stronger in the gym. Be sharper at work. Be better in the bedroom, and be more confident in every part of your life. So call us today and find out how our advanced treatment strategies could change the game for you. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on one of our advanced treatment plans on the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Feature therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a hospitality manager at a 5-star hotel.
So I just checked into room 318, but someone was in there.
Room 318. Oh, you were supposed to be booked in 813, which is now booked.
So what do we do?
How about rock, paper, scissors for who gets the bed?
This is a job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
What a tweet that I just found on social media to end the day. It's from Bleacher Report's Gridiron page on Twitter. This is a graphic of Lionel Messi, who is now 2-0 in his career at Arrowhead Stadium. Of course, he played in one game against Sporting, I believe, as a member of Inter Miami when he first came to the MLS, and then, of course, last night's game. The tweet reads, Lionel Messi now has more wins at Arrowhead Stadium than Derek Carr. Just a picture of Lionel Messi next to Derek Carr in a graphic as Derek Carr went 109. Guy hasn't been the quarterback of the Raiders in 4 years and is just getting bodied.
Deserves
on
every
social media.
stray that he gets. Amazing.
Hilarious. For my producer, Nathan Williams, I'm Logan Weber. Thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for Jordan Foote. Thanks to Jordan Foote for joining us. Thanks for getting involved in the text line. Enjoy visiting with you guys. As always, Royals back in action tomorrow against the St. Louis Cardinals, so that'll do it for After Hours this week on your home for Kansas City Sports, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours on your home for Kansas City Sports, 96.5, The Fan.
I can't raise my arms, I can't climb stairs, and I can't kneel down, which means I can't play with the kids, golf with the guys, or get through a workday without exhausting pain. Hey, it's Bob Fesco, and I'm here to celebrate what you can do. That's exactly what QC Kinetics patients are doing. Not bracing for that next jolt of pain. It's gone. They've moved on, back to living their lives. You've heard me talk about the team at QC Kinetics, and so many of you have already been through their game-changing regenerative treatments, and it's all done right in the office. No missing work, no surgery.